BSL 20's best Zerg from Europe now stands ready to battle in Cosmonarchy. Sziky's instincts from Brood War have led to a Hatch and Hydra-heavy playstyle. But after grinding more than 50 matches in the past few days, this Hungarian Zerg has a few tricks up his sleeve. His opponent? OyA. At one time the third best European, OyA chooses Cosmonarchy to scratch his competitive itch. Learning a whole new game can be quite the challenge, but this Swedish Protoss has taken to it with a smile. And his Brood War tactics were always hard to anticipate. Let's see what he's got in today's Showmatch. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to bring you another Cosmonarchy show match. And you know what? They only keep getting better and better, so why not bring in a certain someone from a cast? Neblime is here to join me for this one. How you feeling, Neblime?
I was born in the cast. This is where I sprang forth from, obviously.
That's right.
Someone was just playing a StarCraft game and suddenly I, exploded out of the screen. And was like, my god, the DT's getting in there. It's going to kill stuff. I'm excited for this game. It's pretty exciting. One of my monitors is, screwing up, but that's why I got two, so I'm still operational, baby.
That's right. That's how we go. So this is going to be an interesting set of matches here. We have a 7-game series where each match is going to be played, no matter what. So all 7 games, all 7 maps. We're going to be starting on a port of Dominator called Knife's Edge.
I believe the term is End of the World format.
Yes. It looks like actually OyA is interested in picking some of the original maps instead of starting on Dominator. So that's interesting. He actually wanted to pick Near Impact. So I will give the players their ability to pick, but the starter map is my purview. So
we have enough Brood War ports
that
they were able to pick. I didn't realize it was going to pick and ban. I thought it was just like, well, here's the maps. But man, there are so many maps to Cosmonarchy.
That's right.
Obviously, Brood War has a lot, but we're working on it. We're getting in there. We've got some great mappers in Cosmonarchy as well.
We'll see how it goes. We already have OyA in the round. In the lobby. He said he thought he was picking the first map coming in as the underdog, the player who didn't play before. Sziky already has a show match under his belt, which is pretty exciting. We can go ahead and bring up our player cards here for a little bit. Let's actually talk a little bit about Sziky, because it's, for my money, it's certainly a player that I think is worth some words. Here we have Sziky, the man himself, rocking out in his BSL jacket, hoodie, something like that. And we obviously have his favorite unit being the Mutalisk. I wonder if that's going to change. Maybe he'll update his player info after this show match, after in general getting a little bit more. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting little round here to check him out. And of course, if he ends up being victorious, we get to play his theme song, which is from the soundtrack of the movie The Condemned. A very interesting choice there. We've got a different sort of theme music planned if we end up going the way of the Protoss. And that is going to be OyA, who obviously has been gaming a little bit. He gamed for 11 hours yesterday in preparation for this and even got, I think, home early from work or something, maybe 2 hours or so of preparation gaming, and got some games in versus Cannoli, who at the very least showed him some cheese, I'm sure. So that's always good. But OyA stands tall, with the Positron being his selected favorite unit. So he played enough to know a unit that he liked from the original game, from Cosmonarchy rather, instead of picking an original game. That's already aura points, man. I'm not going to say anything else to that.
Absolutely.
So we'll take that. every day of the week. So as I said earlier, we start on Dominator, a port called Knife's Edge by Jujic. We do have an opportunity for the players to pick any map that they want out of the Class 1 pool or the any of the Brood War ports as well that we have. We got a huge expansive list. So if OyA drops this first map, I'm guessing he's going to pick Near Impact. He already said that that's the one he wanted to pick, thinking he picked first. So we're going to get into that one, guys. And I'm really excited about this show match. The last one was really good. It went the distance. It actually needed Game 7 to decide the winner, and our homegrown talent of Shopkeeper Dog as a Terran was only narrowly able to beat Sziky in action. So I say let's get ready to do it. I'll ask our players if they are ready to go. Yeah. And have you seen much about this Knife's Edge map, this Dominator port, or Dominator in StarCraft 1? I know you're much more of a Cosmo head now these days, Nebline, but what do you think about this map as the starter?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't keep up, so I think this is actually the first time I would have seen it at all. I haven't even like watched ASL, man. This is what Cosmonarchy will do to you, man. It's a drug. Be careful out there, kids. You know.
Yep.
They say it's free. You can download it at any time. You don't know where you're going to end up. You'll end up donating to the prize pool, you know.
That's right.
Going in your mum's purse to get money for the prize pool.
Yeah, we should talk about that. So each show match here that we're running right now, and maybe this will change a little bit later on, is going to be a $200 sort of purse for each show match. So that means $30 just to show up and $20 for every map win, which is probably a little bit more, actually, as far as my research has shown, than a lot of the StarCraft 1 money matches, but they have those a lot more often. These are a bit more of a spectacle, of a moment. And it is quite the moment, guys, because we are about to get into our first map. So, as we load into the lobby and see what our players are up to, I can reveal to you their spawns. I don't even have to change the latency. Crown Link working like shield battery over here for our first game. And we do have vertical spawns, you could say, top left and bottom left being activated here. So let's see. Over at 11 o'clock spawn, it's Sziky. This looks to me like Pumpkin. It is Pumpkin Zerg. He's borrowing Cannoli's color. OyA going to be familiar with looking at that after his practice games, and we have him in the bottom left as I'm going to say the Glacial Protoss, but it's electric blue. Already looks like a gateway start. No Vespian harvested, and here we go. Gateway start here for OyA.
You know what? I could say I have seen the map. I do remember. It's not hard to learn it because it's sort of just an updated Gladiator from back in the day.
Dominator is the 3-spawn variant of Gladiator. I believe Gladiator was 4. So yeah, the other spawn is down here. Bit. Yeah. But it's pizza slices, man. That's what everybody says about this map. It's got the pizza slices. In Cosmonarchy, you actually have a little bit of a map reveal for, you call this like halfway through Fog of War. You can see this is explored, this is unexplored. So you get a little bit of a sightseeing mission just to start things off with here, and you can kind of orient yourself. Plus the minerals are also revealed. You get to see where the resources are. And we always usually leave these little notes for our players to where they need to build their town centers. You still would be surprised how often I see misplaced ones, but that is going to be pool into hatch for Sziky. He's been really pioneering this kind of strat, as I think a lot of pros will, lending towards their Brood War antics, their Brood War instincts. They're going to go after that. And let's see whether OyA can find some value in early aggression versus such a fast, comparatively, hatch timing for Cosmonarchy standards. He's already added a lattice.
Yeah, so, you see this pool into hatch. It looks quite normal, except faster mining, I suppose, than Brood War. But actually, this is not what, like, the sort of top Cosmonarchy players have been doing. What's much more popular is to get these cheaper production structures, the Lavos got in one base. But Sziky does seem determined to sort of play like a Brood War game. I've seen him make Haxorosks further into the game as well, not using those Lavos at all, really. Except he's going to make one now. Going to come across these Posilisks, try and gun stuff down. They are ranged. He knows this. Sziky knows this. Okay, yeah. He's going to start shooting.
Just trying to shoo him away. Back. Still confirming where he is. OyA scouts him first, so that's a little bit of an advantage. And Zealot Ecclesiast pairing together here. Nebline, I know you're familiar with this unit pairing.
Oh man, the Ecclesiast has been huge in PvZ because it restores shields near the enemy it hits. Like, it restores your shields, not the enemy shields. And the Zealots are quite a bit tankier in this, if you can believe that. At least against units like Quasilis, because they have very good armor. So they can really last forever with the help of that Ecclesiast. The Idol in the back there going to provide splash damage. And these Quasilis are not very strong unit. They do have to run, but Sziky, I'm sure, will have enough lava to come up with something in the meantime. Even a Surkov, aka Sunken, coming up on the front there. So he's looking all right for defense, but he does need to be a bit careful.
Yeah, let's see how fast OyA is to quick on the draw, targeting down that low HP Kagrant, aka Creep Colony. Indeed, being warded off for now, just gets his away with one prize, that being a Quas Corpse. And he's adding a manifold, so the armor pen for the idol definitely a factor here, trying to deal with the heavier armor on the Circuit. Meanwhile, the Zets come down, speaking of, trying to deal with that heavy armor on the Zealot. And so far, it stays alive, but just barely, and we get to see that flash shielding in action.
Yeah, they will chew through stuff much more. Just like Zerglings from Brood War, they really do just have a lot of DPS. They don't mind that much about armor, depending on what it is. But, I mean, with a couple of Circuits there, the third one on the way, I think Sziky knows what he's about. And he's aware, I think, that in Cosmonarchy, it doesn't really matter if Zerg gets behind on workers. There's a bit of this dynamic in Brood War, but it's much more accentuated in Cosmonarchy, where Zerg can really just spike ahead in workers, especially if they maintain the base count, which so far they are. OyA is expanding at home, but here we go. Let's attack again. With 3 Circuits there, I don't know if he can pull this off. If you have more Ecclesias, maybe, but those lattice units, the robotics ones, the idol and the manifold, are a bit squishy, and they're not very good against static defense, at least not those particular ones.
He's been adding a little bit more on the Ecclesia side, also more manifolds as well, and he's got 4 Zealots. He's going to dive in. Let's see if he can focus down that Circuit. Another thing to note is that the idol can't hit targets if anything is in the way. Those projectiles will intercept onto anything, and you can see he's regressing them straight back into creep colonies, but it's not going to be quite enough as the Kagrins start to remorph, and that will only be a short time before those are all Circuits again.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay by OyA, I think, not anticipating how hard it would be to bring those down. Now he has to flee. In fact, he's probably going to lose all this stuff. Okay, so Ecclesias come up. They die. They've given the speed boost. He needs to get away.
That's right.
Dies. And he does start to speed up. I don't know if he knows the mechanics or doesn't know he could just run, but he's getting some shots.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, though, he's lost a lot of pressure here now that he's lost his aggressive units. Yes, he's expanded himself, but Zerg is going to have a considerable advantage here, already having the worker count. Oh, no, wait, I'm looking at it in reverse. But they'll have the worker count soon, I don't doubt. And yeah, we have that Hydra thing coming up for better tech. He's going to get those Hydra lists. In those highlights, he really was just playing Brood War Man, getting 100 Hydras.
That's right.
Takes me back, man. Takes me back to Acropolis 1 when, that was the meta too.
Yeah.
But there's even nastier units you can get besides. And, he took the opportunity of one of those circuits that got taken out. It's like, all right, I'm going to make more production with that now because it regressed into the K-Grid. Then you can morph back into whatever you want. And he makes the production one instead of the defense one.
Yeah, big time. And, something we didn't really talk too much about is the resource mechanic changes. Obviously, the workers move differently. They harvest a little bit differently. But another point is that you can harvest directly from the geyser nodes. And indeed, there is a new node called the Ridge. We can helpfully see that because OyA here's not capped his Ridge over here. He's only capped the one in his expansion. We get to see the disparate nature of the Vespene per return. It's 5 for a geyser, and you can upgrade your Ridge from 3 to 5 by capping. And actually, we see Sziky doing exactly that on both his natural and his main base.
Something that's interesting compared to Brood War is you have a lot more diverse options for a minerals gas / balance. Like in Brood War, you can only really make say Templars or possibly Arbiters or something if you have a lot of gas and not much minerals. But in Cosmonarchy, there's a lot of different units. Hang on a minute, Engager's going to come down here. Okay, I think Zyky's going to think better of it. I don't think he can win this with the Hydras he has. No, he has to pull back. A couple of Hierophants would be huge here, but I guess I shouldn't talk about units still on the field. But as I was saying, Protoss can at least make the idols, because 75 minerals and 50 gas, the Ecclesias to 50 minerals, 50 gas. You can make a lot of units from that big old building, the Ardent Authority, which you're going to see soon. The one he's making, though, pretty mineral heavy, the Positron.
Indeed, and it is his favorite unit according to his sign-up sheet, so let's see if he can put it to good use. He has a feeling that it's very, very solid versus Zerg styles. One thing you brought up, Nebline, when you heard about that is it good versus Lake is our lurker equivalent here in Cosmonarchy? And, some other players like Hit 'em Up, our recent champion of Acropolis, our world championship, said, no, it's not so good versus that.
Just have a flat note.
Yeah. So, but hey, that's not what Sziky is making. He's going to evolve his Hydras not into lurkers, into Bactylisks, so more of an artillery-based unit. It has a mechanic that I'm not actually sure Sziky has internalized yet, where if it can travel with its projectile a bit further, it will bounce to more targets. If it's in melee range when it attacks, it is only single target. So that's the little bit of tension that exists between these two armies. The Zealots want to get on top of them. They're tanky anyway. Their armor deflects a lot of the damage from the Bactylisk. And here we go. A big engagement already coming in.
This is not the engagement OyA wants. He's going to get splattered by those Bactylisks. You can see them shooting from the back there. They do so much damage to your Zealot Ecclesias, as well as those idols and positrons. They're going to pull very fast. He's going to try it. The thing is, if he has a lot of Zealot Ecclesias and get right on top of those Bactylisks, as you say, because they're short range, they don't get bounces, they will be absolutely destroyed. But there's so much buffer in front, and Sziky really here is doing what he does best. He's playing Brood War, but just with extra steps, adding these Bactylisks in the back, and all those other units early in the game. So, I mean, I feel like he is pretty adept at doing this. So he's trying to get sort of like a mix of units. He's having a harder time.
Yeah.
Let's see. If he can hold the ramp, he's retreating from the ramp. He needs to be careful. The high ground is the thing that's going to be most beneficial because in Cosmonarchy, it does give you an extra range and your opponent minus range shooting up. That's going to be instrumental in the backlist. But he's trying to attack up the enemy ramp instead. Oh, and Zeph's come for the flank at the worst possible time. It's looking like he's doing a lot of damage, but can he do it with the attack in the back? Looks like he broke through anyway. Oh, disaster for Sziky if he loses these Bactalisks.
Yeah, and they're slow moving compared to the Hydralisk, that's for sure. Now, just like those structures, the morphed units will turn back into what they morphed from, but they are stunned for a little bit of time before they can actually start moving. So it's not even a guarantee that when they die, you get the Hydra back. Sometimes it's a full kill. Back here, he still has those 3 circuits trying to defend as the attack comes in. He's got golems added to the front line, which every time they take damage, they actually restore shields around them to their allies. It's a great pick when you factor in the Ecclesiast, also kind of healing some of those shields, but still, the Positrons, they've got that line damage, and it was targeted up here instead of where the bulk of Ziky's army was. So now OyA has to fall back. I'm not even sure, as the lurkers start to come out, the lake is. We obviously have this extra base up here at 1 o'clock. Does OyA know?
It looks like he's going to go look over there just now. We do have the Witness, aka Observer, scouting up those Bactalisks there. It's going to be very hard for OyA to attack anyway once those fields are built up in number. And yeah, these circuits are going to deal with these like robotic units easily. They tend to be squishier. The Positrons look big and bulky, but they really do die quite fast. And honestly, OyA is being very dicey being out here on the map, but he has got his own third, right?
That's right, he does. And nobody going for those mineral onlys just yet. Instead, artisans are out here as well, and those matrices do end up going down. All 3 of them. I don't think a single one canceled. We have a little read for when that happens, and now the workers are getting killed. The battery is now the bulwark, and it periodically will restore some shields around it to all units and structures. But as we can see, the rest of those units that was hitting 1 o'clock now get popped in the middle of the map. Sziky looking dominant right now.
Oh man, this is about to come in and kill all the workers. This is going to be a disaster for OyA, but there is an Acantor, aka Reverb, but they're so far away. That bulwark does provide detection, so he can see them at least, but I don't know if seeing them really helps that much.
Well, if the Acantors can get in there, big frags onto the workers, and you can see OyA just trying to spend down his money. The bulwark falls. There's no active detection over here. His Witness only now returning, so he can try to get a little bit of extra range onto those ones on the low ground and the Acantors. I don't think this Nexus is anywhere close to dying, but Sziky has definitely returned the table on him. And just now, his Bactalisks cleared the few artisans in that location. They flee. Got, what, 6 Lakes left over here. I think only one of them ended up dying. Yeah, this looks like really, really strong for the Zerg. And the Protoss side, I'm not so sure if he can get the tech in time.
He did spare the Nexus though, so OyA can hold somehow. He's still in this, but he can't jump between these 2 locations. The Acantor's way too slow. He's got 1 here, but I don't know what's he going to do for him. The Hydrogen will just pop that instantly. He's trying to pull back.
Oh, but he had 2 finishing at the same time. Ardent helping out there in the natural.
Oh man, that Matrix, the one that's shooting as well, also restores shield to allies nearby, so it's really doing a lot more than I would have thought. Looks like he's going to kill all of the Bactalisks. Has Sziky overextended here? Hang on, there's more Bactalisks in the back, but there's also more Acantors. Where is the detection? The Witness out of position.
Yeah, they can't actually see it. Okay, now they do. They turn over towards it. All right, just like that, we have a little bit of a hold, and he did lose a lot of workers at the 3rd base, but he's actually still up by 10.
Yeah, you know, actually, I think OyA's still in this just because Sziky doesn't realize that you need a bit more workers per base than you do in Brood War, so he's a little bit low than what he should be. But OyA, on the other hand, sort of embraced the production a bit more, but the engagement continues. If OyA can just hold, but can he hold? What does he have? A Pariah is in production. Oh, wait, did we see a Pariah already?
Not yet. This is the first time we're seeing it, but look, 5 Matrixes and the Bulwark a little bit far away to help those shield. No, actually, it is just barely in range there. You can see the little overlay.
Perfect placement.
And here's the Pariah. You were going to talk about this unit, Neville. I'm one of your favorites.
Yeah. Oh, I do love it. Maybe it is my favorite if I think about it. It's very tanky, and not only that, when it kills an enemy unit, it can speed up allies' attacks, which we'll see an overlay, a red overlay if it happens. But it does deal with Hydras quite well, because there's very good armor. And Hydras in Cosmonarchy do not deal with armor very well. Look at that. They attack so fast with that boost. It does splash damage. Man, it has everything, man. It's the unit's got everything. But Focus Fire will bring it down to those Hydras. Those Bactalists finished. He needs another one to pop out. It is almost done. And yeah, I think OyA aware of what units to use, actually. It looks like he's done a good job sort of like figuring out what he wants to use in this game. Whereas Sziky, I'm not so sure. He really does just look like he's playing Brood War Asterisk, you know? Just with Hydralisks and Lurkers, aka Bactalisks. He's added the Bactalist for extra firepower, which makes sense, but he's really not making much use of like the extended tech tree. If we look at the sort of top Zerg players, they definitely mix in a lot more of those Zorkers units, the Zoryus, and we haven't even seen the Gorbrakor yet. He also could have gone for tier 2, I think, on 3 base would be solid. Not that I think expanding is a bad move. But also the worker count makes me question how much he's adapted. He's still sort of in Brood War mentality, where you look at a base with like 4 drones, you're like, that's good enough. You know?
Yep. Well,
I mean, look at his main. His main is like half, you know?
I know, yeah. He's only got like 7 workers. I guess he's starting to resaturate it now, but he did spend a lot of them on production structures, right? And of course, he probably pulled a lot earlier in the game with that harassment. Paying out dividends now as we've got 5 Acantors, the Nexus on the minerals. You were talking about that mineral balance and how positrons can be pretty difficult. So big issue with this army right now. Pariahs aren't the fastest units. Acantors obviously very slow. You may have caught earlier that it doesn't have a normal scarab. Instead, the plasma shell it shoots actually just travels in a line and can be dodged. And actually, Sziky has played against that already versus players like Arbuz Budesh. So big shout out to them and Hamster as well for helping train our pro players up.
Drop.
And now, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Leica's drops. I don't know if he realized until just now. This might be the first time he's trying it. Only 1 fits in an Ovaleth, but you can upgrade that at tier 2, and then you can fit 3 of them in there. So, pretty big difference.
That's the least of what you can fit in the upgraded
one. Yeah, you can pick up
I hope one of these players knows this, and we can see that. Right. Dog in chat, by the way, making a point that OyA's got much more diverse production here. And, I'm a believer in this sort of combined armor effect in Cosmonarchy. If you have lots of different types of units, as long as you can maintain your macro of all this different stuff, I think it makes your army stronger. And we are seeing that with OyA so far. He's got, like, a lot of units that cover each other's weaknesses. Now, it looks like he wants to attack. Oh, yeah. I don't know if he can pull that off. I mean, the Pariahs are very tough, but there's so much stuff there, man. That is like a completely deadly stack of enemy firepower.
Yeah, he takes one look at that and falls back. When the Acantors actually get there, this many Acantors, so hard to dodge. It's not like it otherwise, but the drops are going to come in.
Oh, double.
There is no detection over here, so if that Leica's gets down, you got to stand on it to reveal it. The Bulwark, on the other hand, is going to provide detection for the 3rd base. This one will not be effective at the end of it all. And there's the drop finally. But this is a pretty pulled back base as far as the worker count. The Acantors have been splattering the Hydras meanwhile, but it does look like OyA's army is going to get overwhelmed on the map. So even though the drop wasn't particularly effective, this is the problem with that army. You can't move it. This is not a roving army like we see in StarCraft 1 right now. The meta for PvZ for a little bit has been, roaming with Archon Templar, a Zealot Dragoon. Oh, you don't have that to the same degree.
He did not deal with it. Only 4 kills, I guess. I guess he pulled away. Okay, but he didn't have that many workers to begin with. The thing is, because you don't deplete in Cosmonarchy, it makes sense to saturate your main quite a bit. Over the long term, even though it's depleted, the base would still give you plenty of income. Okay, now, OyA's in big trouble now. It was definitely an overextension to leave his sort of pizza slice with the Reavers. He should have stayed on high ground, I think. And now he's going to get completely counter-attacked. Look how many Hydras are out. Again, Sziky just playing Brood War here. The Mass Hydra counter-attack going to be deadly. Matrix is doing their best. They do heal themselves, so they last a little bit longer, but there's just so much stuff to attack, and the high ground backfill is going to get so many bounces. The Pariahs doing what they can. They are not strong enough for this task.
No, there's so many of them. There was 8 of them at one point, but look at them all falling before they can all get a good connection. Leica's have erased the workers at that line, and now we've got the Pariahs charging. This is where the Bactyl bounces are going to start to evaporate, but is it too late? Is there enough here still from Sziky as he reinforces with another cloud of Hydras? This looks like way too much for OyA to deal with, but he has reinforced with the Acantors. Diving forward, Sziky absorbing those shots. If you get in front of them with some army, they won't hit where their intended targets are, and it's going very, very well right now. Is he going to start to peter out? His rally point looks flush with units, unlike OyA's Mineralite here at the 4th base. This looks like it will be falling, and GG is called. Sziky takes our first match.
Wow, well, Sziky showing very strong plays. Not leaning into the mod that much, but I mean, at the end of the day, Hit is in chat, just making units.
Just is make how units. You do it. Yeah, that's one of our reigning champions said, make unit win game. And apparently Sziky knows all about that. So we will end up getting a bit of a reprieve here as we wait for map pick number 2. Well, I suppose the first pick that isn't mine. But let's get back into it, guys. We're talking about Sziky opening up in that way. He's got $50 to his name already. And we are going to conclude that prediction over on our Twitch channel. Make sure that everybody knows Sziky got that first win. And we'll get that map pick done for now. This is a 7-game series. All 7 maps played no matter what. Near Impact is selected. This is a map that is one of our own. This is not a port. This is an asteroid-based map. It's actually technically made in the space platform tile set, but it is also a map where, let's just say, things are a little bit different here. With our maps, they look a little bit fancier.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things you can't do in Brood War. Yeah, I'm fond of saying Brood War could never, but honestly, it couldn't. Blizzard ain't gonna patch new tile sets, man, so we're gonna do it ourselves. And we have a lot of fancy stuff I think people love. That last game, I'm thinking Sziky's looking pretty good because he didn't even use like the tech tree. He could have gone tier 2, but he didn't, and he still won. So he's looking pretty strong.
Well, that map might also play a factor. I'm willing to absorb some information here and assume that maybe the Knife's Edge port might end up looking a little bit rough for that matchup. But it's also brand spanking new. We had to throw it in there. So there we go with Sziky posting up the first dub. Players ready? We're getting back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Near Impact selected for map 2 of our Showmatch 7-game series. So let's see what we get. OyA in the bottom right here as our, turquoise? Cyan Protoss. And Sziky in the top left, looking like Tyrian purple to me. He is going to be our Zerg. And Near Impact cross spawns. This is only a 2-spawn map, so no worry about scouting, unlike that last map. But that was a factor that actually favored OyA because Sziky had to go and find him and did scout quite late. And I think that's going to be a commonality in these games. I think Sziky will scout fairly late with units as opposed to with his workers. He does not want to part ways with it. Instead, he's going to go ahead and find that spot where he can put down his pool. It will be an 8 pool here for Sziky.
Yeah, about like sort of who's doing better in the matchup, I do have my doubts for OyA as well, because I feel like he's not really addressing the way the economy works in Cosmonarchy, in that he's not being aggressive enough. In the first game, for example, like he's going for that nexus behind that. I feel like if you let Zerg get away with the Hatchros, you really are just at a disadvantage. I think you got to find a way to delay that. And, in some games I played for Sziky, I was able to compel him to sort of like get a bit more like units and stuff for throwing the Hatchros. He did make it sometimes, of course. But I think you want to do everything you can to delay it. Now, the Scribe is coming up. He sent a bit early. He could have just blocked, but he does have double gateway. I would love to see him lean into the Ecclesiast. They'd be very effective, I think. I don't think Sziky knows the proper ways to deal with them, to be honest. But we'll see what he does. I want to see him go all out on aggression, because you can support 5 gates on one base pretty easy. That's a lot of Ecclesiasts and Zealots going to come at you. It's quite hard to deal with if you don't just spam Lachesis like most of the Zergs are doing. But he's going to come in scout.
Yeah, sees the pool, sees 2 eggs, worries about what might be. He's going to come down. He obviously already did see the hatch. Worker vision is pretty good in Cosmonarchy. That part hasn't changed from the 2 games. And now with the Zethra cores coming out, you won't really see Scribes try to move around and save themselves versus early Zerglings or anything like that, our Zergling equivalent, the Zethra core. But it's worth pointing out.
You can try.
You could try, and it will delay your opponent from moving across the map if that's what they are doing. At the same time, though, drilling, you can talk about this, Neblime. Drilling is a lot better in Cosmonarchy in some ways because the workers are a little bit beefier, right? And so early melee does get slapped by that sometimes. We'll see how
I would say
successful
drilling is worse, but regular fighting with workers is better. Because of the way decollision works, it's not as easy to actually get the damage on the enemy. You can still just disrupt them from attacking, so he is going to utilize it there. And that looks pretty Brood War-like.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Look, if we get a bigger engagement, we'll see that it is not as good, but the workers can definitely help in a fight, especially with the shield regeneration Scribes. That can actually be a huge deal. Now, OyA, once again, not opting to get that other unit I want to see, the Hierophant, which can slow enemies down, would really help him here, but he's just running around with the Ecclesiast, and they can just stop the Scribes from dying as well with their shield regen.
Yep.
And I don't think Sziky is aware of Burrow. You have Burrow from the very start in Cosmonarchy, and it's really annoying if you burrow Zephs in corners of the base. They're so hard to find, and they're going to show up later and scout or kill your Scribes, but he does just lose them all. No kills. So OyA looking pretty good, but he does opt for the Nexus, which I think is sort of a big misstep here. These circuits might look scary, but if you show up with like 15 Ecclesiasts, they don't do anything.
Yeah, fair point, right? And even this army that he has right now, if he just decides to lead with 1 Ecclesiast, you can see Sziky specifically trying to block that. But when the Ecclesiast dies, you called it out in the last game, Neblime, the units are sped up for a brief period of time. So if he walked in here seeing 3 Circuit, and he just decided to try to punch through the Zeths, I mean, maybe now it's a little bit less advisable, so to speak, but he can just try to ignore this. In fact, he's actually going to try to fight that, which is very bold. He knocks about 100 HP off.
Died.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to have the power to get through this. I feel like, where'd these Quaslists come from? Okay.
They snuck around. Secret agents.
I feel like in Brood War, you look at your opponent having invested in 3 Circuit, and not only are you like respecting those much more, you're also like, he spent so much on Circuits, he's not going to have any workers. But that is not how Cosmonarchy works at all. Zerg will very happily overtake you in like a minute. If they're left alone, because you have to put that pressure on. And his army's still hanging around, but it's also a problem here is if he can't actually break through, eventually Zerg will kill the army, then all the pressure's gone. Look at that, the Zeph's going to come in. This is definitely an overwhelming force for Zerg. I don't think it's going to work out for OyA. He's trying to micro the Ecclesiast around, but his Zealots are taking a lot of damage in the second. In the meantime, he gets cornered against the wall. Yeah.
That is a little bit rough.
Can he get out?
He's going to be able to get out as 1 Ecclesiast ends up falling, but that felt rough. Maybe if he had decided to take the fight just past them, because of course these are static. They can't move. This ain't StarCraft 2. This is something,
You know,
StarCraft 3 or something like that,
another thing compared to Brood War is the Zephs, aka Zerglings, are way cheaper. Well, they're literally half the cost, 25 2.
Yep.
And you mine more in Cosmonarchy, by the way. So you can spam them out so much. They really don't mean anything. You don't look at that and you're like, oh, Xerxes made so many Zephs, he must not be making workers. That's not the case. Best case, you're just getting rid of some lava, but they will still be making workers, no problem. You can see Sziky is still almost on par. Well, here's the thing. Sziky is not really aware that he needs to make more workers per base, though. So that is an advantage OyA will have. If Sziky figures it out, though, he's going to be in serious trouble.
Well, let's find out. He is streaming his POV over here, by the way, if you want to go to his Twitch channel. It was linked earlier. And Ardent Authority coming for OyA. Not streaming himself just yet. Needs to get his setup back. But maybe one day. The Ardent will definitely be a
tell him
big...
to
one
base.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone with the conventional plays. I haven't really played like this, but I know Protoss have been saying the way to do it is just mess up a Cantors in PvC. I'm not convinced, but I do feel like OyA had someone tell him what to do. I don't know who. But it seems to me, based on the plays... No, I don't. It seems to me, based on the plays earlier, that he's sort of been studying the meta, or at least someone told him what they think the meta is, because he made the Pariah Cantor, which you've seen for a little while. Was it Shambler using that quite a lot? Maybe it was Shambler, I don't know. But yeah, he's going for a sort of Cosmonarchy conventional comp, if you like. Even though I feel like he's not really sort of taking the rhythm of the game that Cosmonarchy does. Now, he made the Artisan. Did you talk about that yet?
I have not actually told people what the Artisan is, but it is a flying worker, and it is making these harvests happen, and it doesn't need a Nexus. It just does it. So, talk about Toss OP. Coming in with those.
Yeah, we should use those floating island bases to show those off, but Ziky's going to come across here. What has he got exactly?
So Sziky has a bunch of Zeth cores, and he is backing it up with Hydra backed. He did end up upgrading his den again, which is another feature of the game that allows you to evolve your Hydras. Artisan on the front, just scouting out, saying hi. And we do actually have a Scribe over here. No, it is definitely not a combat unit, but the Scribe might end up getting bopped here, so it's good that OyA ends up pulling it back. Now we've got one Positron for splash damage, and really trying to dive around, wrap around here, but I don't like this fight for Sziky as all of his frontline dies. That being said, the Zealots are mostly ground up as well. Maybe this can still swing the Zerg's way, but it looks a lot less likely as that one Zealot staying alive despite it all. And now all of these very expensive artillery units, the Bactylisks, are being dropped. So that is a big early win.
Yeah. He had a good strategy there where the Zephs came around and distracted the Ecclesias from healing the Zealots, and the Zealots melted so fast to Backlist. But Backlist, kind of like Ecclesias themselves, once the front line is gone, they really struggle, and he still wants to fight here for some reason. He's going to pull back. The Zorkis is on the way. That is the building that enables the Lakizalists, aka Lurkers. Oh, he's really trying. Oh.
It's a good thing he pulled that boy off. Otherwise, that would have been a dead Scribe. Both players have a lot of money in the bank. Sziky just spends it down now. 7 Lakis, 3 Zoryus. And that is going to be the play. Yeah, he was waiting for the Shroud to finish to unlock those units. OyA, you can say the same thing, but at least he's got his third base coming. I like that he's building a pylon first. A lot of homegrown Cosmonarchy players are not so much of a fan of that because the Nexus does act as a power field. But I think the pylon is good early because it does let you set up defenses while you wait for the Nexus to come on. Otherwise, you might just end up getting it sniped by a run-by. And an Argosy is on the way. OyA going to go for Empyrean-based play, I think.
Well, I hope he makes Empyreans. I hope he knows that's the inch make. The Positron getting focused by the Circuit doesn't die somehow. Now the Lakizalists are out. I don't think there's anything that OyA can do here. He is going to get surrounded if he's not careful. He needs to get out of here. Running right in there with that Zoryu speeding up stuff. When they attack, they speed up allies running towards the target. Okay, but he's getting good damage here. The Ecclesias is really giving a lot of sustain. Lakizalists will deal from over time, though, and the tanking from the Zoryus is really hard here. He does lose most of his army.
He does, but I honestly think that wasn't too bad cost efficiency-wise, keeping in mind he's still got a pretty big force back at here. But he is only making Servitors. Well, one a Cantor, maybe halfway complete. Might be something to think about. By the way, when those Broodlings, the Rillarocores cores die, they're being spawned because when the Zoryus gets attacked, they spawn them after a short delay. And when they die, will apply the Devourer passive, reducing armor and attack speed to nearby enemies. So it is a pretty good unit, utilitarian speaking. However, Sziky is kind of just running by.
Don't mislead these poor people. It's nowhere near that good. Oh, you know what? I only just realized he's mining from those blocking minerals with the Artisans. I only just noticed that. It is natural.
I guess that works. That's interesting.
They are depleted now, though, so there's plenty of other minerals on the map. I'm not sure that's really the best way to do it. It does take out his list, so he's looking pretty good.
It was funny that, he's just using them as like a gateway into his base, like a flavor, right? It's like, you dare enter my lair. And we got the Artisans here. Working on a sculpture for all eternity.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens now. I mean, OyA still has the tech advantage. I think if he uses that Argosy properly, and he does know the best unit to make from it, I think he has a lot of potential here. I don't know if Sziky has actually seen this.
He has. He's definitely played a lot against it, but he has struggled to find a counter to it. And that has been something that has been difficult for him when practicing against some of our homegrown Protoss. They'll go up Tecton, they'll go Empyrean. Those are good units to try to bamboozle pro players with, apparently. Now, a couple Hydras are going to come up here and bop these Artisans. Those will not be able to escape, it looks like. So, OyA is trying to pull them off, but they are in the middle of an animation when they're returning their resources, so it does take a moment before they can move again. One of them does escape. Maybe he'll find out that these flying bases can be used for that. He's
I hope he does.
Going all the way over there.
You know, one thing about this is, I don't think Sziky is going to be very inclined to get tier 2 here. Oh man, if OyA loses this army, though, he might not have time for Imperials. He needs to chill and go home.
Yeah,
because he cannot win this fight.
Yeah, the Positron, though, you're really showing off how brittle it can actually be. It has 2 armor, too, and so that's with the armor helping it out versus the Bactylsk. It's not quite enough.
Look at that Zerg army.
Oh, yeah.
OyA is so screwed. That Imperium's going to die, man. He needs to get that out of here. Just run. Run for your life. Okay, luckily for him, Sziky decides to go around the side. This base is going to die, but honestly, Sziky's getting off lightly. OyA's getting off lightly. Because if this army gets wiped, I think the game just ends. And he still feels like he wants to defend here. Double Argosy coming up. No Crucible yet, which would be nice to see. But here we go. The fight's going to start.
Let's see. Where's his rallies at? That second Empyrean needs to get here post-haste. But, you know, a lot of this base infrastructure is absorbing the damage that would be otherwise going after the army. So that's not too bad. Meanwhile, reinforcements coming in from the top rope. They wipe in a Cantor. That's a big frag. No more.
So he's coming to the front line as well. No more Cantors here. The Positron's just going to spawn the maximum amount of Rillarocors. He's trying to get through. The Imperium needs to run. Once it gets going, it's not that slow, but its acceleration is hella slow.
That's right. Well, where's that second one? It's still back here, back at home. The rally's not animating. Definitely could have taken a more favorable engagement if that was the case. He's got a good defensive setup and the bulwark for detection, but these Lakers are going to ignore it and go straight after the workers. I don't think there's going to be any salvation here. He's got to engage in this position, but look, as Sziky tries to enter in every single alleyway he can possibly find, his Lake is still volleying down the static defense instead of the workers. Gives OyA a moment, but it's only that, as I think the Empyreans are soon to fall. Focus down one by one. And that's it for the economy at that third base. OyA still maintaining a worker advantage, but doesn't matter. He's got no more units in the tank, and I think we're going to have to see him. GG. Sziky, dominant start here in the show match.
Yeah, man, those matrixes and bulwark made a valiant effort healing the stuff that was defending, but it was not enough. He did break through. You know, I was worried if he stays tier 1 forever, which he's inclined to do, he's not going to be able to deal with the Empyreans, but there was just no time. Just overwhelming.
Yeah, and you can maybe make the argument that there was a bit of a mistake there from the Protoss player to be going after something on the side of the enemy, you know, the Zerg's map, right? You can think about it like, Sziky is in a position of power there. Why is the Protoss on the other side of the map? But learning that can be a challenge. Let's see which map he wants to try to go after.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's playing more like, the Brood War dynamic still, where you can both expand and sort of just sit back and wait a while and attack later. Because in PvZ, Protoss definitely does just wait like absurdly long for the right moment, it feels like. You go to base and you can still win the game at like 12 minutes if it goes right for you, you know? But not the case in Cosmonarchy. You really got to pressure the Zerg constantly. And like I keep saying, Sziky's only showing us like half the potential Zerg, really, with his work accounts. So I feel like OyA's in big trouble unless he mixes it up. I hope he can figure out like some more aggressive strategy or something different to do, or a super totally way of playing, maybe building up these Empyreans. I feel like Zerg has the tools, but I don't think Sziky is aware of them. Even if he had tier 2, I don't think he's actually going to figure out what he needs against Empyreans. If there's like a big stack like 8+, I think OyA could win with that.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, right now we have a 2-0 start for Sziky in the show match. He's going to play 7 games no matter what happens here in the score. And while we wait for him to ready up, Kingwa Valley is selected. This is another homegrown map, an ice map. It's going to be interesting to see what we get out of that one.
Thanks. Yeah, it's mapped by BDB, by the way, the greatest mapper in Cosmonarchy. Shout out.
Big shout out, big shout out. We're about to get in as our players are ready, so let's see what we get. And thanks for the follow, Bab. We appreciate everybody tuning in to this exciting experience of watching 2 pros duke it out in a very unfamiliar game. In some cases, unfamiliar battlegrounds is what we have on offer. Sziky, already $70. on his lips, waiting for that next round, and we are going to Kingwa Valley for it. It's Sziky in the bottom left and OyA in the top right. It looks like this is going to be... Oh, man, I don't even remember these colors. But I'm just going to say Vine Green. And he is. Sziky in the bottom left, though. Is he Beaster Brown? Golden Brown. There you go. Just like good fried food here. Maybe Sziky will get cooked up on a map like this. Otherwise, he's just staying warm in the ice, right?
I don't know if Pronogo's been chat to you guys already. I don't know if you guys knew there's a lot of colors in Cosmonarchy, and somehow Pronogo knows them all.
Somehow.
Yeah. Gate first again. I'd love to see some like lattice first shenanigans. That 6 lattice, you know, it didn't work when I tried it versus Sziky, but I feel like you can pull it off. You play better than me against the hatch first, but we'll see. But he's just going to get some. I'd love to see Hierophants as well. I feel like a good micro, you can do a lot with those.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because if you think about the way that OyA has been playing so far, it has been with this 1 gate, 1 lattice, or, 2 gate aggression. Even on Dominator, Knife's Edge, right? We think about that map 1. He went for 1 gate lattice and then added a 2nd gate after his Nexus. So this does seem like he's normalizing into something that's a little bit more familiar to us Cosmonarchy heads. When we think about the way that the game so far has been developing, a lot of people are delaying their expansion, even as all races, not just Zerg. And part of the reason why is because that early aggression sometimes comes out from the Protoss that is rushing out to 2 gate or something like that. It just breaks any defensive posture you can have. So let's see if OyA is going to be able to show that off, or if Sziky can continue pioneering this style that's been often attempted by many a player, but has it been enough? Is it going to be good enough? That remains to be seen.
Well, you did say OyA practiced with Cannoli, right? So presumably you've seen Hatch first. But yeah, I think he's just going to go with this same expansion. It does make me worried. Like, I feel like he needs to break out with something radically different to win these games. But we're not seeing it so far. It looks like he's about to go down and get that Nexus anyway. Scribe, though. Can he get a kill? Probably not. No, get out of there.
Seems unlikely. Looks like he's going to set up for a 2 gate into Nexus. And his Zealot will come on down, but he's seeing the Circuit already mutate. It feels unlikely for him to be able to get anything. Still, with the Quaz being the only choice here, if he does end up going for Mass Zealot Ecclesiast, again, you just move past that Circuit. You just decide to go right past the units. Now, Ziky's not going to allow that for free. His unit positioning around the ramp here is going to work out just fine. And he's actually going to move out with this many Quaz. You can absolutely kill a Zealot. When they break shields, they lose their... yeah.
Man, remember they used to go faster when they had shields? Those are the days. All right, he's going to try it with 1 Ecclesiast. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be fine here. Well, he is going to retreat to the circuit. It's probably prudent. See if he can get a kill here. Okay, that's like 25 minerals of value so far.
That's right. Well, he's only lost about 25 HP, so it's fine.
Going to get to commit to the attack here again. I mean, this is the pattern we've seen. He comes and attacks the circus, which he cannot bust, loses a few units, then has to run home. When he's not willing to commit more to the aggression, like he's not willing to make more buildings in the start and have more units. So I feel like he's sort of, again, just like willingly falling into this. If he's going to come and attack and like lose a bunch of stuff,
well, he's hitting at a good timing, maybe.
Get in. No, I don't know about that. He's not going to get in versus all this stuff. He has to retreat. And look, the Zeph's running right to the back line. He knows to go after the Ecclesiast. Getting a bit spread out here. Okay, nice regen so far.
Yeah, it's looking very, very good. You can see how dominant the army fight win is without the DPS of the circuits. And of course, the way that they absorb all that damage. So he's slowly forcing out some more with the pressure. His own Nexus about to finish up and up by 6 workers. Let's see how long that remains the case. As you already called up many times, Navlime Zerg can just explode in worker count. And much later than you need to in StarCraft 1. Really, I think a large portion of that is just to the fact that it hasn't been mapped out to the same degree, right? Like, that's one of the reasons why you can freestyle and maybe find some wins, is that comparing it to something with 20-plus years of, competitive at the highest level, constantly working around on the same patch over and over again. Now, Cosmic gets patches, but, still, it's been a hot minute. We've kind of figured out our own meta, and here are the pros trying to do the same.
Well, here he goes. He really needs to consolidate in one spot to get the maximum Ecclesiast healing. Here he goes. But again, there's so much cool stuff here. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Well, he's getting some trades. But yeah, he's getting too, whittled down by those 3 circuits.
Yeah, you can say so, and I wouldn't necessarily fault you for it. Remember, with multi-building select, you can even just control-click the circuits and then right-click a specific target if you don't want them to spread. There's the Ardent, still on 2 gate, adding some defenses in case of some kind of counter-stab or run-by or drop that Sziky started to do a lot versus Terran, but hasn't actually done it in this series yet.
Well, about the stuff you're saying about Zerg, maybe we should just stop saying that for that cast, because Sziky is like refusing to increase the amount of workers here.
Yeah.
Not going to really realize the full potential. Oh, he's trying it again. He really wants to get in there, but the Ecclesia count is not enough, and he's just baiting out the massive surround. Needs to be careful. Those Zeph's going to do damage so fast. Okay, he can definitely fight now, though. Now it's just 3 kills. Sziky needs to not lose all this stuff.
Right, yeah.
Ooh, okay, now this is dicey, actually. Might actually be able to get in here. Are there more reinforcements coming? No, not really. Oh, man, if there was another gateway round, he might have been able to do that if he pops all 3 circuit real quick. He is pushed back. No Hydrift yet that I can see.
Nope, it's just double Embassy now as the follow-up. I don't know if he's just going to go for Mass Envoy, just try to do Air Cantor style, as Hit 'em Up famously did in against AU.
Does Sziky know about Naths? I don't think he does.
I don't think he's ever evolved his pool. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but he might never.
Does he know he can do that? I haven't seen him do it when we played. All right, here we go. He's going to start focusing down that circle.
Just trying to pull them in, yeah. I like this move from OyA so far because he's dancing using the durability and the shields that you can get. Still, he is taking some chip damage on the Zealots, but he's just been adding Ecclesiasts this whole time. He is not making a single other Zealot. There it is.
Was he listening to chat when I'm like, just...
Ironically, you got cut off when you said that, so I have no idea what you
said. I was saying, was he listening when I said, just make Ecclesiast?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still getting a bit late. Oh, it's tier 2. It's tier 2. Sziky's going for an Iris here. We're going to see some more advanced units. I do like this. Because he knows that OyA's coming hard, and like he's just going to do the same stuff with Ardent. If he just gets some tier 2 units out, like I don't know exactly, Zarks, for example, would just destroy OyA, honestly.
Well, maybe if he gets enough Positrons, it won't matter, because remember, those can do some unforgettable amounts of damage. I do think we need to start seeing a little bit more frontline. And OyA did, in some of his first ever games versus Jack Yelansky for practice, he did do Positron drops, and it did kill some workers. So let's see. We've got one Spraith here. I don't think that's unintentional. I think that might be a deliberate choice versus any sort of air shenanigans that might happen. But there's the tier 2 finishing. We've got... Oh, he's going to go straight for the lake. This is interesting. I have never seen Sziky do this move. So let's see what he can do. That unlocks a bunch of new units. Prostration stage on the way. That Envoy doesn't yet have any units. It's going to be in a Cantor drop.
Yeah, it's something. It's going to get past these defenses. I'm still very worried. And like, I don't know if Sziky knows about Zark, but it looks like it's going to be the Calkia Lake, sorry. So we're not going to see those. But I will point out, Positrons don't have any armor pen capabilities. So they do not deal with Zarks if we saw them. They really don't deal with Ultra Cores, stuff like that. But we're not going to see that. It's going to be probably Calculus or Lyralisks. If he knows about Lyralisks, I know those are a favorite among Zerg players. I love this game, the Travel Nest. I hope he knows. Oh, he's making Convalisks. That's a fun one. Yeah, he's also going to make some Vilgoricores. He practiced making those against AI in the last match before the show match started on his stream. I was there for that. So, oh, we get to see this. This is classic StarCraft right here. It's because it moves so much faster, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and the scribe also getting stuck. Someone asks you what is Brood War, just send them this.
Yeah, that's right. You guys say that it's not like StarCraft 1. You guys say it's different. I don't know, man. That looked the same.
Oh, it is Lyralisks, by the way. And Convalisks. Man, and sorry, Vilgoricores. Sziky knows what's up. So you see those guys crawling on the back, those roaches? They will multi-target attack, and they will spawn Rillarocores, aka the Broodlings, on the enemy army. Very devastating. He's got these drops here, but that Spraith, aka Spore Colony, is really long range. It's going to be very hard to harass here. Oh, he doesn't want to lose it.
Scoops it up.
The Lyralists in the back, that sort of faster Cosmos, also doing splash damage. This tier 2 for Protoss army is about to get devastated. We see those swarms coming down from Vilgoricores, absorbing so much damage. And it looks like, well, it's doing a lot with the Ecclesiast. In the Cantor on the back, doing its best. He may be able to defeat all this stuff. The Conqueror's trying to start doing damage.
Oh, yeah, but they only really get activated after all the Zealots go down, right? The Positron's clearing out all the spawn, the Ecclesiast keeping them healthy. That ends up not working out for Sziky. That doesn't mean that it's over, though.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you think about the Acantor, it takes so long to siege some of this stuff down.
Yeah, I mean, like people in chat pointing out, the Positrons did a lot to deal with like the sort of swarm units coming out. And Sziky had the tanking with those Vilgoricores, which what they do, by the way, that little mini swarm absorbs 100 damage and goes away. So it really helps with tanking on the front line. Here we go. Now he's figured out the range. The Conflict's going to come in as well. It's not no bad range itself. But yeah, Sziky needed more like damage dealers in the comp. He's getting some more Lyralisks coming up now. And the Conflicts don't do bad damage, actually, despite also spawning the stuff. Oh, the bait. The bait.
Yeah. He's going to have a couple infected Zealots to deal with. First Pariah joining the fray. Now a second Acantor has made it across the map. So maybe we'll just see a slow crawl.
I'd love to see the Calculisks so we can see that plague going down.
Making some Vorvs.
These Acantors are in danger.
By the way, I think this is the first time Ziky's made a Vorv. I don't think he ever made the tier 1 version. So good save on that Acantor, but he can only pick up 1. I don't know if he's figured that out yet. It doesn't have 12 transport space, only 10. The Cantors take a little bit more space than some other units. But he is going to start to break down. Yeah, he's slowly getting rid of some of these defenses. Sziky under the pump.
Does Sziky know about Almax? Because he's saving up. Oh, he's going to come in now, though. But there's so many circus. I don't think this is a good idea. With the Convolus on high ground as well, or maybe not. Well, he can spawn a lot of stuff.
Oh, it's choked up. The choke is so big that Pariah and the Zealot, they're really keeping everything funneled in. Now, a lot of damage is going awry onto the static defense. This is still a hold from Sziky, and he's making Almaxilisks on the other side. Now we've got OyA falling back. There was a Pariah there that whole time that maybe could have changed the outcome of the fight. Really hard to undersell how impactful individual high-tech units for Protoss can actually be. And a couple of bad rally units are going to end up getting cleaned. We've got more workers rallying over to the third base. Eco definitely favoring OyA for now, but the tech, it's been secured, and Almaxilisks coming out in numbers will definitely help out versus individual high armor targets. Unlike Mutalisks, which of course are Sziky's favorite unit, you think about the way that they have a shorter range.
Moves. By the way, we're going to get a great unit showcase here. He's morphing those upgraded Zephyrcores, aka Zerglings. The Wolfracores, look at them there. They're fancy. They got wings. I hope he moves them. There we go. They're so cool. They ensnare the target and reduce its armor. Yep, they're very tanky compared to Zephs. Obviously, in the scheme of things, they're not a tanky unit, but compared to Zephs, they certainly are.
And when they die, they turn back into the Zeth, which is going to do more damage than the Vorv. So that's always a good target. Fourth base and third base coming up at around the same time here, it looks like, for Sziky. Just waiting on a little bit more money. He's ordered up some Vilgoricores as well. So
No turn in chat pointing out, by the way, what happened there is, despite how clumsy it was for Sziky, those Convolus are extremely strong on the defense, so attacking into them was unwise. Here comes the Swarm. OyA only has 17 military units. I don't think he can do much about this, and he's still out on the map. OyA's instincts are just to keep pushing one Matrix to hold back the Swarm. Uh-oh.
I don't think it's going to work out too well, man. Well, at the same time, he's coming in for a drop at Cantor and Positron. That's going to cause some issues. There's not much at home for defense right now. Sziky just making Zethicores, which, you know, pretty good shot so far. This is going to be the end of this third base, though. And now he's fallen back. OyA going to make his last stand. This looked like a very successful start. But instead, his Positron's left over, slowly working down here. Unfortunately, that Cantor not long for this world unless OyA looks back in time. Oh, it's not going to happen. He's got bigger fish to fry. He is on the defense, and Sziky on the warpath. Another Pariah makes it in. Lots of good splash damage. Remember, air units stack up, and the Pariahs hit both at ground and air. Positrons, they're so sped up. That attack speed steroid from the Pariah. Oh, it's glorious. Sziky's army evaporating before our eyes, thanks to all that splash damage. Well placed from OyA. Fortuitous or not, from a rally point or not, Sziky did not react. He did not split. He had bigger things to worry about back at home. And now we've got another round of envoys. They don't have anything in them, but they are going to fake out some reactions, it looks like. And OyA still standing. Single Volcoricore trying to slap the Nexus down. But that is going to trigger Sziky to move elsewhere. Northbound. See if he can't overwhelm that position. We've just got a couple artisans garrisoning those Vespene nodes. Minerals saturated, okay, you know, baseline saturation for one round. They could double and be still efficient. But that's just the minerals at the fourth base. The third base is thrumming right now.
Well, there's a few Lyralists in here, get a lot more damage. Yeah, he's going to come in for a surround. That's what he needs. You really need the angle in Cosmonarchy. It's a big deal. The Akandor's doing their best. One from, like, out of left field, taking some shots there. Does he have enough this time? You know what? The Pariah going to benefit from the Swarm if it's standing under it. And it is buying so much time for these Convolus to do their work. What a drawn-out engagement here. Oh, man, there's a lot of Villarocos spawning, but he pulls them back.
Yeah, that's a wrap on that fight. I did think it was pretty close. And of course, now that with this pylon and maybe presumably a scribe over here cleaned up at the 3 o'clock position, double a Cantor drop now, earmarked, and still no Vespene harvesting from this extra base, but Sziky might not need it. He's got plenty of hatches, he's got plenty of eggs, and it looks like we're in a bit of a drawn-out game here on Kingwa Valley. We do have 3 more Pariahs still alive, pushing forward. It's just the problem right now for Sziky is that he doesn't have anything to deal with the splash damage that is coming out from OyA. He's making the Vilgoricores, but then he lacked DPS. He didn't have any Almax, didn't have any Hydras, abandoning his normal spot, and now the combat drop of the Akantor catches them just as they crest that ridge. Wow, that's some good early frags. We'll take those. And that hatch is gone, so back down to 3 base for both players. And the Akantor is going a little bit further into the main base, which is still not quite expired.
I mean, there's a circuit, but I don't really count that. He needed like a sprafe and stuff. Oh, he's going to do so much damage here. And take out that base. Man, okay, OyA looks poised to take his first game here. Are we seeing any more advanced tech, though? We are not.
Not yet. He's actually maintained exactly on the same one, and he is more or less depleted in these bases, which takes a lot longer to harvest the same amount of resources. It's not like they expire completely, but they just become way less valuable. Now here comes another engagement, and this can always be dangerous attacking across a bridge. That remains true in Cosmonarchy. That witness being revealed by all of the corrosive touch reducing armor. We'll see if it ever ends up getting sniped. Doesn't matter, as Convolisks are in big stacks right now. Is it going to be enough to overwhelm? Oh yeah, he's starting to lose those low HP pariahs.
Dude, he's just spawning so many Willerokos on them. The Protoss army can't do anything except, like, you know, deal with those. It does get pushed back, but pretty high efficiency for Sziky. They got some of the key units. But Ziky's army is still just so big. He's still at this core of splash units.
Oh my god. Double Mind Tyrant. Now, has he used the Malefactor ability? That is the question, as the Acantors, they're going to be earmarked for this 9 o'clock position, and the ground army cutting off reinforcements. I don't know if Ziky's going to be able to hold this. No, instead, they dive into the natural and the main, waiting with open arms, but it was the envoy in the lead that didn't have anything. It was a decoy. That Acantor is not long for this world, and now cleaned up on this side, but not without killing a Convolus. Still not the end of the world, but could have been a juicier target up here at 9, and I'm sure he saw the Kagra by now.
Oh no. Oh no, look, he has so much quads units. These are just fodder for pariahs, man. They will do nothing. This is going to be a disaster if he engages with those. He needs to try and morph Luralists at least.
Okay, Mind Tyrants are here. I don't know if he hasn't activated them just yet. Their whole shtick in Cosmonarchy is all about mind control, and he has abandoned the ramp. He's got no front line over there to absorb all the incoming attacks, but the pariahs are starting to activate. One of them getting brought down, though. That's actually catastrophic, potentially, here for OyA. He's trying to do more. He's trying to do better as his pariahs push forward, and the Mind Tyrants are here, but they don't reinforce as well as you'd think. You need some preparation for them. They're starting to try to add on to their positrons and their pariahs to give them a little bit more value, and now we're going to start to see that tyranny turn tail, and a pariah gets empowered as well. When they're empowered, the damage is first dealt to the Mind Tyrant's energy pool instead of being dealt to the unit directly, and suddenly a humongous swing of HP from those spellcasters, turning the tide in favor of OyA, and he will gobble up all of these Zerg units.
Yeah, and he steals a single Convolus, which actually is going to do a lot. Spawning Willerokos on his enemy.
Oh, no!
Oh, a couple more! Oh, look at them go!
How the turns table!
Oh, they're going to rip apart that base instantly. They have time life, but they get it back if they do damage, so they are instantly destroying that base. Who knew Convolus was so good against Zerg, man? I guess now Sziky knows. So many of them.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's it for that. Won't be seeing much.
Oh, and he has the brood sires, right? With the Convolus, he can also keep them if he can keep them close. Oh, a lot of these are about to pop.
Yeah, my god.
Well, maybe not all of them. Oh no, look, they're sending to their deaths.
Well, they go right onto the Kagra. That means that they regenerate their timed life, so fine with that. As long as they're uncreeped, they still go. Can the Mind Tyrants be focused down? I don't think so. Oh my god, the Willerokos! There's so many of them! Wow, OyA's decided the Zerg units are what he wants to use. Oh, his Mind Tyrants are going to pop, though. That means no more mind control if the last one stays alive. No, it's not going to matter. Sziky not able to focus it down. He's trying to deal with all of these Prince. He's just using Zets. GG. OyA will take game 3, and we have ourselves a series, gentlemen.
Dang. Really nice play by OyA there. Those Mind Tyrants, I'm glad he knew how to use them. I was sort of worried he'd come in and start trying to, like, mind control his enemy's units or something. But no, he did it. Very nicely done. And, you know, really held on there, OyA, when he was at a pretty big disadvantage.
Yeah, has to be said. There was a period of time where he was clearly favored. Now it's a question of what map does Sziky want to make for map 4, and you know whether or not that's something that you can actually go after. Sorry, just reacting to the map pool. Of course, we are going to the port of Luna called Tesseract for our next game. That is a map that I wasn't expecting to see in the rotation.
No. Who allowed this in the pool? Even in Brood War, this isn't a good map, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think the map that has been played the most so far is probably out of the ports has probably been Brainstorm, just because it's alphabetically so far to the top that Sziky and OyA have gamed on that a lot. But we will see. Yeah, that last match was very, very close, and I'm glad to see the way that it has gone. Mostly just because you don't want to blow out, even though you're playing all 7 games. You don't want it to be, 7-0 for one guy or something. So let's see. I think OyA's showing his skills, his micro, his macro, mostly on point there. And now we got to see who it's going to be in game 4. And this is more of a normal map. I mean, not really, but it's more of a StarCraft 1 map. as a result of that, maybe the players will have their own memories of how it's navigated. The layout hasn't changed that much, and OyA has posted his first dub as we get into our next game.
I mean, look, I don't know how long these players have been Brood War. We got to assume they're old school, as good as they are. And this map is pretty old school in Brood War. It goes a long way back, but it is not made for the modern era. That is for sure. Definitely, the Cosmonarchy one's like slightly updated in that regard, but still, I have my doubts. It seems pretty good for Protoss in Cosmonarchy because I feel like it's narrower than you might expect, and the splash damage so far favoring Protoss, at least the way this game's been going. If Sziky manages to utilize this Equivalence more, it might look very different, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because one of the things I really want to figure out here is, like, who has the least adaptation to make before they become way better in terms of their results? Not necessarily in terms of a player, of course. I feel like Sziky, if he saturates his resources more or, something like that, that might just immediately change it. And a lot of the maps that I think that we have in the StarCraft 1 pool are just a little bit more on the open side compared to the Cosmonarchy maps, which have a little bit more lane-focused design. Not as a total rule, but as a general rule, I think like the choke points, if you could try to contain your opponent to them before they end up getting on big bases. That's especially true, it seems, of the two-spawn maps. Luna, Tesseract now in Cosmonarchy, very different in that respect, and probably does favor Zerg a little bit. I think we saw that on the Dominator port, Knife's Edge, just because of the fact that it is a little bit more on the open side. But we'll see what Sziky wants to do. He has picked this map for a reason. I know he's practiced on it.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of play here, right, still for Zerg. It depends what units you make, right? And I can only talk on like what I think Sziky's going to keep doing and how he's been playing so far, right? Like he's really favoring those Hydras and stuff, not really utilizing the Zork's units much at all. I mean, he used Zoruse quite a bit that last game, but not the Lakizidlis, which have been the staple in the sort of meta recently. So that all said, I think it's still going to be pretty good for OyA though, because he's not really going to be able to abuse the what do you call it? Like the chokiness of the map, of the Lakizidlis. Yep. Those monuments in the middle, man, I forgot about those. Do you think there's any way OyA knows? Although, what do you need? Do you need like a Demiurge or something? No, a Mind Tyrant, do you? Can you even get them as Protoss?
No, you can't. You could infest them as Zerg, but then you'd also need a pylon.
Of course.
So.
Yes, that's the problem with that. Although, stealing one scribe's not that hard, but you do need tier 2 for all that. Man, I guess I should stop saying anything and wait to see if we reveal a surprise.
Yeah. Well, people maybe not know this, and I don't think Sziky will show it in the show match, but you can infest any unit or structure as Zerg. It's no longer just the command center for Terran. So, if he found that out, he might try to do it, but I don't think he knows. 2 Zets in the main base, unlikely to get any damage, but will slow down this attack from OyA as he's gone for his 2-gate expand build once again. No real surprises there. Nobody asked any questions in the lobby, so I don't know if OyA even knows that this is going to be a port of Luna or what. Like, does he have any idea about that? But look at this. We've got the circuits by the ramp, but no defense here. And now, all of a sudden, Sziky going to have to fight with his workers.
Well, it is only 3 units, though. We'll see what he can do. And nice surrounds. Ecclesia's doing his best to restore, but the Zealot's not even attacking. Yeah, I think he's going to clean this up. If the Ecclesias falls, it's pretty much over immediately. But no, he goes back to attacking the Zealots, but the Zephyrs do the damage. They can deal with it. Thing is, the Zephyrs can always punch through the armor, and usually they're sustained. It's just that they're very squishy themselves. But yeah, he will clean this up. So really, this is just a loss for OyA, I feel like. Only got 1 draw left. And he's going to lose all these 3 units. He's running around with that Ecclesias buff, but no, down he goes.
Yeah. It only lasts for a couple of minutes, or rather 2 seconds. But one thing that's worth pointing out is that that fight was a little bit of a bigger issue for OyA, because the egg here, it decollided his Ecclesiast while his Zealots were being decollided by the Droleth. Otherwise, you would just maybe say, oh, that's going to work out just fine. No worries at all. It'll be easy peasy because the Ecclesiast will keep shield stealing. But it did look like it was going to be a bit harder for OyA. Now he's going to have to really come down to this ramp. There's a lot of Zets here.
Yeah, this farm, he can definitely take it on. They do die real fast. Are we going to see Ardent again? I guess if the OyA doesn't know like the full spectrum of units, right, he'd rather not experiment in the middle of the match. Makes sense. So if he makes something else, I'll be shocked, although I would like to see it because there's definitely other options.
Yeah, Bulwark at the front, just trying to give more and more shields. It is staggering how much a defensive Protoss emplacement with an army with Ecclesiasts as a factor as well can just survive forever. It's
and it's
ridiculous.
Important also to get that detection. I think is a big deal about that.
Oh yeah, well we've got the Den, and the Shroud is on down before the Den is even finished. So there's definitely something different happening here.
Yeah, so he's running around. Oh
boy,
is he gonna get in? I mean, there's nothing defined, so... Oh, okay, he's trying to get the flank. He's trying to run in the main, and it looks like it worked. He baited the other way, but he only sends 3 in. He could have run the whole whole swarm in there and did a lot of damage. But Sziky does have to, OyA does have to respond in 2 different locations, and he's starting to kill those scribes. Can OyA keep up the micro? The Bulwark doing its best, but this Ecclesiast might fall, getting quite a few workers so far. He's going to clean up this stuff in the natural, it looks like. Ooh, another one goes down.
No, he's a little bit lagging behind here on the response to the multitasking. Meanwhile, Sziky floating his money, but he knows that he's just going to make a lot of units out of that shroud now that it's completed. Back at home, just in time to see. And yeah, sure, he routes a bunch of the progress there. He does end up clearing some of the enemy units and enemy workers, but for the most part, the Zets are expendable. And they got a lot of value there. Meanwhile, we do have an Ardent coming at the natural. I suppose if there's going to be a hold for the incoming Lake is Zoryus attack, especially with the reinforcing Zets, and the possibility to add Hydras afterwards, they move a lot faster by themselves. This is an opportunity where I guess the Akantor is going to have to come in the clutch for OyA.
Yeah, like we talked about, those Zevs only cost 25 minerals for 2, so they definitely can be thrown out. And yeah, it does seem like he's been relying on those. That close base is pretty dicey for Zerg, I feel. We'll see how this goes. Lakislus out will negate these Ecclesiasts completely. Zealot Ecclesiasts is very hard to deal with, but Lakislus really do just slap those Ecclesiasts. They can't really get close enough without dying to do their thing. Of course, Kantor's going to be okay there, but does he have time? Oh, well, hang on. If you get sort of on top of Lakislus and all around them on all sides, you can just quickly kill them before they can actually do anything. But he does pull back.
Yeah, Ski backed on the way, so he's upgrading the den into that so he can make his Bactylisks that he's enjoyed so far so much. A couple Hydras starting to trickle in. 12 o'clock being taken. It's a cheeky base to take because it's so close to your opponent, but he hasn't noticed it yet. He's got some units across the bridge just in case that's where Sziky wants to go. He did feign going there at one point with his Lakes, but so far, just forcing the army to group back up together. And if he starts to fortify across this bridge, sure, there's no buildable space here, but you can put some Kagrins, you can make some static defense, and OyA is none the wiser right now. But this will be the subject of a lot of drops. We already saw that style work out very well. Now across the bridge, scattered up by the Zealots. Let's see what OyA's response is.
Well, he does have a pretty good sort of like narrow area here, but Lakislus do get in and force him to pull back again. I am pleased that OyA sort of knows he needs to respect those. He hasn't overextended against them and tried to take the fight. So he's keeping it up pretty well so far. The Positron's coming out, not a Kantor's, right? So they're not going to really help with the Lakislus. They're trying to get on top. We'll see how this goes. Will the Ecclesiast be enough sustain? It looks like he can tear them apart. Oh, there's a couple left. Okay, it looks like he breaks through, but the Positron does die, which is always only left. And he does push him back. Yeah. You know, on the whole, I think pretty good for Sziky because he's reset the Protoss army. He did get rid of the immediate threat, but at what cost, right?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't any more Lakes coming, so that's probably the main thing to concern yourself with here. Meanwhile, we have witnesses that get forced out tech from the Protoss. He's adding more pylons in his main preemptively, which is always a good move. You know me, Nablime, I love seeing pylons.
Yeah, I know you do. Like, why did you add the whole Nexus Power Field, man, if you hate it so much? Like, your players are using the feature you added, and you're shaking.
No, they can do that. I just think it's bad if they don't add pylons. Bad for them.
Yeah, well, being a Brood War player will have pretty good base stats here. It looks like he's saving up for a station stage again, I imagine. I'm surprised we saw something else. Oh, he's used his gas section. I don't know what he's going to get. Well, here we go. Coming across this narrow bridge. Now, the backlists are going to be very devastating against Positrons. Positrons really cannot handle those. Yeah. And I guess he's given up on the Lakislus now after that little altercation. Oh, and once again, OyA getting way out on the map, way out of position, is in a lot of danger. Now, it is prostration stage behind this. He's like, oh, wait a minute. There's an army
here. This could be a good flank, because remember, he's got mostly Zealot Positron right now, and, well, let's see. He's not actually moving in altogether, but the Zealots will absorb a lot of the shots and negate the bounces. This is beautiful so far, but where's the focus fire coming from the Bactyls? You said it earlier, the Positron's starting to melt because of that targeted fire from the Bactyls, and the Zealots not really giving them chase. Meant that there was no counter damage dealt there. So now we're back into a Akantor. Couple Servitors here. When they die, they have the same passive as the Ecclesiast, where they speed up allies nearby. So they can be good chaff to throw in there, and they do pretty good at hit scan damage. But it's all single target. We don't see that overwhelming splash composition that we saw previously.
Yeah, the Zealots themselves are just completely helpless against the Zoryus plus like Hydra and Bact, because they get rendered and bounced so much by the Bactylists, so that is not going to do anything. So you have to keep those key units alive. The Akantor is finally coming out. I kind of think if you get those from the start, he'd be doing a lot better. But the prostration stage is on the way. He does have a lot of minerals. I wonder if he's going to try and like get another structure maybe, but he does need gas. Here we go. He's going to come in.
Oh, the Akantor on rally. That is a big mistake there from OyA, but does it even matter? The Matrix is keeping things alive a lot longer than you might think because they have the same passive as the Ecclesiast. However, the Zet's coming in, and there's so many Hydras. I don't know if OyA has anything that he can deal with here. No, that's the last military unit he's got on the field, and I think that's GG. Sziky taking a third game in sub 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was pretty huge by Sziky. Didn't really look in trouble at any point in that game. And yeah, that attack, those matrices again doing so much. I'm kind of amazed, but not enough in the end to stop it. Was able to overwhelm just by sheer numbers.
Now, this is the best Sziky has done, believe it or not. He has only ever won $90 in one of these show matches. He got 3, and then ever since then, Shopkeeper Dog bopped him and said no more than that. But OyA, he is going to be hurting for a pick next time around.
Yeah, well, wait, how many games is that now? I'm losing track.
4, yeah, we just played the 4th one, so it's 3-1 right now.
Okay, well, let's see if OyA can come back and equalize it. It's still possible.
It is, yeah. It is still possible. We could very well have a very nice start here to our match. Oh, it looks like he's I think he's hosting lobbies to check the mini map so that he can see them. The old classic move. So okay, we're gonna go for Serenity. It has actually been updated, but we are going to play the older version because that's what they're more familiar with. However, Serenity does have a very close distance and a very droppable area, although I don't think in this matchup you're ever going to see it used too much.
Yeah, at least this is like an actual map and like a good map. The other one, like Luna, come on, man. Luna's not a real map. Let's be real. Like, 20 years ago was a real map people would be willing to play on, but now not so much. So hey, I'm glad to see this one.
Sziky was ready to play on it. I don't know quite why, but he liked it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he won, so.
Yeah, that's right. Well, OyA's ready. Sziky getting ready. We're going to get back into it, ladies and gentlemen. Our GLHF's exchanged, and we go to game 5. Serenity now awaits us here. This is another one of our bespoke maps, so expect some cool moves, in my opinion. We are going to go up to high latency here as we get down to where OyA is. Sitting pretty as the Ultramarine Protoss, and Sziky in the top right as our Forest Green Zerg. What's he going to do this time around? Is it going to be Hatch? Is it going to be Pool? How's he going to open things up? There are technically more openers. Man. Most of the time people go for Larvosk, of course, but is it...
At this point...
I don't know if he's ever going to do that.
At this point... I don't think they're going to see any variation in the openers. Both players seem pretty locked in. It's the double gate for OyA and the pull into hatch for Sziky. And, for Sziky, I'd say it's working pretty well. Why deviate? But for OyA, I do question it. And there is the other tier 1 building you can make, the lattice. A lot of tier 2 buildings you can make and stuff you can do on one base. But alas, I don't expect him to deviate. Now, this map, it's definitely a bit funkier. It's got that back base, right? There's a lot of shenanigans you can do around there. No Terran in this lobby, so we won't see the worst of the worst. You can definitely set artisans back there is quite strong, I think. And Protoss can sort of sit back on 2 bases, but OyA seems determined not to turtle. He does not want to turtle and tech up. I mean, it's sort of worked out for him because you do need to keep pressure on Zerg, but at the same time, if you go out and lose your army on the map, you lose all pressure, and Zerg is in a really good position. So I don't know. I think he needs to get those artisans in definitely, and then if you can build up the Acantor Pariah, who knows? Unfortunately, does not block this.
Yeah,
a bit of an unforced error there.
Could have definitely.
I would have thought a Brood War player would be like, oh, never mind.
Well, I don't know how long this is. I mean, remember the pylon the pylon itself only takes about 10 seconds to warp in. But we've got Quas coming, and the Wardens, they are very, very time expensive. But he is going to go for it. His gateway is only now finishing up a unit. No, not even. So I assume the Quas are not going to stand up this ramp, and this Warden will have to be canceled. But I love the gusto behind it. Maybe if it had been over here out of vision, that would have been a different story. But I think he wanted it ASAP.
Yeah, I don't know, because, he hit the units already. I mean, Quas are really bad against buildings. I don't know if Sziky is aware how bad they are against buildings. Although they're not that bad, I guess. They can get this done technically. So, yeah, a bit unfortunate for OyA here. But I think it shows, actually, he sort of agrees with what I was saying, that he needs to do something different. But this is not going to be it. Nice cancel, though.
Yep. He basically drags out as much time as possible. There's 1 Quas left to work on that structure, as Sziky does want to droll up here. Now, whether that will be intuited is yet to be determined. And we do have some Zealots out, which, by the way, the Quas themselves, they cannot do anything to. Zealots by themselves and this number versus Quas in this number, it's a handy win for the Protoss. We've got some static defense that is going to come up, but the pylon going down blinds OyA, and he's actually got yet to go for a Nexus. Still going off of the 2 gates, so this is a bit of a variation after all, but we'll see how successful it ends up being.
Yeah. I mean, he's down a bit minerals, right, with that cannon. But, I mean, the work account's still favoring him for now. let's see what he can do here. Maybe Sziky will be in like a false sense of security, having like sort of defended that. He's like, oh no, I don't need to make as much stuff. He only has the one circuit this time, whereas before he's gone up to 2 immediately and then 3. Now, what does OyA really have though? I mean, I don't know. Four Zealots and an Ecclesiast, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, he dodges that tentacle at least. The Circuith can't hit you, guaranteed, if you dodge back quickly enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Stabbing forward, Sziky is going to actually lure him in a little bit, but no actual damage felt here. Nexus now maybe a little bit under halfway complete, as we do indeed have the 2-gate expand coming. Just a little bit of a delayed variant with that Pylon Warden combo, like you mentioned.
He's getting that Embassy, which I think is a good move for sure. I don't know if he's aware of the back base, but I certainly hope so. He's going to try and get in here, trying to engage the units first.
Whoa!
Later.
I think this is working. Yeah, he just needs to ignore the rest of the units, walk away from the circuit, and I think Sziky might have just been bamboozled. Now, that Larvosk is a juicy target. Big drill here as Zyky's trying to be just like Nebline with the combat battle workers. Let's see if it'll work out. I don't know. I mean, the Ecclesiasts are just going to absolutely run roughshod over this army with their shield sustain.
Oh my god, he's killed so many workers already. This is looking pretty deadly. Sziky might be knocked out here, I don't know. A lot more Zephs coming out. Zephs are the unit you need. He realizes the Larvosk is quite vulnerable there. He's going to take that out. That's production lost.
125 gas down the drain with that one.
Hang on, the Hydrif is done. He needs some Hydras here. That would be the perfect unit. That little Quaz army is just going to be fodder for this. He's sort of just throwing away what little units he has with no kills because his Ecclesiast is just constantly healing. Will be unstoppable.
Yeah, and you know, OyA is going to have to deal with a Circuith here because he actually has not focused it down. That was what remorphed afterwards, but I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it matters at all. All the Drolettes here in the main base, down to 4 workers, really, because this one is not long for this world either. And more Zethricor's coming in. I guess technically he'll still be alive after this. Well, maybe I changed my answer. More gateway units rolling on in as the Circuit is remorphed. It's down to 6 combat units, 5 workers. That's it for Sziky. This is the second game for OyA. And talk about a Russian worth $20.
You predicted this, that he could just run past them. You called it. Yeah. And here he is. GG.
Yeah, Sziky, normally he's really good at defending that. You think about all the times he's postured himself ahead of the ramp. But that's a second win for OyA. And, you know, it's worth pointing out here, sharing what the players themselves shared. Sziky said he'll use his winnings for a new mouse pad. And OyA said food. And so every time OyA gets a win, he's going to dinner 1 extra time. I love to see that. And he has indeed gotten himself up there. We've got a little bit more to go here as Sziky will pick our next map.
I hope he sort of realized that the aggression is key here and that they can get a lot done with that. And, you know, the defenses aren't as strong as they seem. But he still was going for that Nexus behind that, too. And if he didn't kill, like, every Drollef, he'd still be looking pretty good.
I don't think you're going to believe the map that was just selected there, Nebline, but we are going to Rage Slave, a port of Nero Rush Hour.
I've had some like bad memories on this map, I'll tell you that. Well, I'm disgusted, so I'm going to AFK for a minute, and you'll have to enjoy the start of the match yourself.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm sure you'll come back in ready to go as we get deeper into it. And Sziky will also be taking a short bathroom break. So I guess Nebline will come back in time after all, you know what I mean? Hope you guys are enjoying the start to this show match. I guess we're already, you know, over halfway complete. This is going to be an interesting time for OyA to consider his next strategy. And I'm going to give him a little bit of an encouragement here. I think his play has been pretty good. We'll see what he ends up saying with that. It's been interesting to get the perspective from the pros about this sort of thing. And Sziky seems to enjoy it. OyA seems to enjoy it. I think he's been doing pretty well for himself here. The Protoss from Sweden, trying a couple of neat strategies. Brood War-esque. You know, everybody remembers Storm Drops. I'm sure somebody can make Storm Drops work again, but you're probably going to need to pack in a couple of the Templar equivalent here, the Cantavis. Got some funny guys in the chat. And yes, shout out to our sponsors for this show match, Ayud64 and Krankendow. Ayud donated the majority of his prize winnings towards the show match. Krankendow donated all of it towards the show match. And that's how we managed to grab the money that we are currently using to pay these players for their participation and their victories. Sziky has popped in, ready to go, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, he had to use the bathroom. So Nebline, you're here just in time.
that's convenient. I came back, I saw the lobby up, and I'm like, wait, what? They didn't start yet?
Not yet, not yet. But we are going to Rage Slave for our next map here in the show match. And we have interesting spawns here. So it looks to me like OyA, Ultramarine once again in the bottom left, and Sziky at the 3 o'clock location. He is Zinwaldite Brown, and he is going to be pretty close, actually. The far spawns on this map are actually the vertical spawns, even though this looks like it's not as close, or maybe about the same. Rage Slave, Neo Rush Hour's port, it is a little bit different. And hey,
Yes.
you know, Nebline, you beat Top Ramen on this map. You should have good memories of it.
That's a terrible memory, even though I won the game. That game was terrible, man. Literally the clip of me, like, flying in the Envoy with the 2 Cantabus in it, and losing it for nothing.
Fair enough, fair enough. But that was after you did a lot of good moves and split all your units really far back to use the shields and stuff. We'll see if OyA ends up doing some of that. It's Hatch first on Rage Slave.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, we'll see. And he's going to get scouted first. So this is pretty good start for OyA so far, but we'll see what he wants to do with that. So far, his 2-gate shenanigans have been pretty good. Obviously scoring him a couple of wins, but I'm still waiting to see. I'm still waiting to see what he wants to do if it goes long.
He does get the fortune of finding it first, right?
Yeah.
I assume he's going to rally his units on over.
Yep. So
go.
right now, I mean, I like that Ziky's actually sent a worker down here. He's hunting around for it, and he will scout it. So this is really good awareness from Sziky, and maybe OyA showing his hand a little bit too early in that last game. Pretty good.
He's making the purifiers, man.
The Legionnaire is on the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, this is quite hard for Sziky. 3 is not quite enough. You do need 4, I believe.
Yeah, it's slowly building up a little bit more HP, and he doesn't quite know that you can make Rilla cores or how they work exactly.
Oh, right.
So he's not really aware.
Easy.
You can make that for Larva, but you know this is what happens. The knowledge, the learning. You're going to learn today, Sziky.
One scribe can actually stop 2 Rilla cores from killing a warden pretty easily, it turns out. Stronger in combat than you might imagine. But yeah, this is going to let this finish. And the thing is, the Circuit would normally be enough, probably, but there's going to be a Legionnaire here to help out. I don't know, man. This is dicey. If you focus that Circuit down, which he needs to do now, he's losing valuable seconds. He's not shooting it with the warden. Okay, now he targets it, but it's going to get his health back. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Zeph's come out. Oh, he's going to bust this easy. No, man, he's broken out. So many Zephs.
Maybe,
OyA in big trouble.
Dude, honestly, those 2 shots from the Warden that hit the hatch instead would have turned the tide there if it was immediately targeted on there. So great call from you to recognize that, but that will be held. Did a little bit of damage. He killed 2 workers and drained some mining time, but Zerger fine with that.
You know what would have been strong here? If he cancelled the 2nd gate and made a Warden instead, or even a 3rd Warden, I think you can afford if you do that.
Yep.
I think it would have been much stronger there. But as it is now, he might just lose instantly.
Oh, boy.
Might be the shortest game yet. Oh, nice micro, though. Keeping those alive as best he can. Sziky coming for blood. He's like, all right, time for a Nexus, right? This is a good time.
Go after the scribe. Immediately clotheslines it. Good micro so far from both sides, but I think Ziky's has been a bit better so far.
Yeah, you know, OyA's really showing us great Zealot micro, which is something I really can't do. So showing us more potential than Zealot we might have thought against these Zephs, which are their traditional sort of hard counter. Yeah, he does hold, but I do think the position's pretty dire for Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, OyA's only up by 4 workers, and that is not really as much as you're supposed to be in this situation. This is despite, obviously, killing too early. He did set himself behind a little bit, and so we'll have to see. It's still, I think, playable, but certainly an edge towards Sziky right now. OyA trying to force a decider, right? So.
Oh, baited. No, okay, he sees it. I was going to say, if he got that, that'd be crazy.
That's been happening a lot to OyA, right?
He does get another Lavos. You know, I would have liked to see someone just show how much quad stuff you can make on 2 base. That would have been great, because you can make absurd numbers if you get all that production. Especially with those minerals that never deplete, you can sort of just, like, make it forever as well. But I guess versus Cantor is not such a good idea. Ardent being made in the main this time. Finally. Stop treating... Wait, no. Is that the Ardent just down there? Am I wrong? No, that's the Nexus. Yeah, I thought it was. What? Hang on a minute. I swear I saw an Ardent on the production tab. Oh, it was the Sedent.
Oh, there you go.
I swear it looks the same on the production
I was going to say, how's he afforded that so fast? But it looks like he will be going for it pretty soon. He just needs his bulwark down, and then he'll be good to go, I think. Or no, he's actually going for it first. He is. There you go. You were just 1 minute early, Nebline. That's all. Man from the future.
I swear I saw the production tab, and I'm like, that's an Ardent, right? But then, now I look at it, it's not even similar.
Classic. Well, you probably don't see the Sedent too often in the production tab, right? I feel like it is fairly rare. So.
Well, this is what happens when I'm not in the game. I'm just stuck on Discord stream, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I can only see what I can see.
That's right.
But yeah, Sziky's been able to do exactly what he wants. He's got a lot of draw left. Not very much production, I will say. But he's prepared to make the tier 1 tech. He's got every tier 1 building now.
Skipping over the mineral-only base, going straight for this one on the low ground, it looks like. No, he's actually going to wrap all the way around to the high ground. I like that play. I feel like pocket bases are not nearly as common in Cosmonarchy from the Cosmonarchy players as you'll sometimes see from the Protoss or even the Zerg in certain matchups in StarCraft 1. So it would be pretty nice to see that a little bit more often, but, you know, we'll see.
I do think if Protoss is on the ball that it's not going to be possible to defend it, but that's like any hidden base, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
It's something Art of Turtle used to do a lot,
yep,
for sure. It can be quite effective. I'm not really sure why he stopped, to be honest. Yep, so it's not even that much commitment if you think about it, because Zerg does tend to be more gas-heavy. Not as much as in Brood War, but still to some extent. So, you know, if you lose it, it's just like C'est la vie. His army's all the way over there, and maybe I can make something happen. But here we go. The ski back coming up. Going to be backlisted again, I expect. We have not seen any skiff recalls, which does make me kind of sad.
Hard to use them when your opponent isn't making their own air, or maybe... I suppose they're probably a little bit better than Gorgs when you already have access to the structure, but the Shroud has been being made now for Sziky. We're kind of gating our expectations towards off-meta stuff because of the way that the pros are doing it, but Sziky is playing with the Shroud instead, right? So now he's starting to filter.
I guess he decided that Gorg recalls just aren't a good unit or something because he's not made a single one.
Well, he made them in the highlights, but yeah, hasn't made them versus Protoss this time around. Maybe you just forget, you know, you're relatively new to the game. Now, I say that, but Sziky has grinded like 50 matches of Cosmonarchy already, so I can't...
Yeah, man.
You know, that's pretty good in short time, right? He only started playing on Sunday, I think, so...
Oh, yeah, it's been biding his time. He's built up a little gateway army here, but I feel like this is how it goes as Protoss. You sort of build up this, like, you know, artisanal, finely crafted army, and then it's like, well, actually, there's like 12 Lachesis, so you're dead. But we'll see. It does look quite menacing for Zerg. If you can just get the right engagement, get on top, but I don't think this is it. The Lachesis are ready. Needs to be careful getting baited in. Once again, it's a Positron, not in the Cantor. Will help against those Zephyrs, but not much else in this army.
Yeah, it feels like the Zorius itself is not really in the prime position to speed things up for an engage. I think instead Sziky's trying to bait out an engage and then counter with his own movement. Whether he's thinking
well, he wants to run into the Kuzlers, right?
Double Positron drop.
Oh, Positron drop. Yeah, I like that. I can do a lot of damage very fast.
Even if you burrow reactively, the Positrons can still deal their line trace damage over where the burrowed units are to hit them. Well, let's see. Moving out onto the map.
Well, here we go. Yeah, I don't think OyA can take the fight. I think he does need to be careful. But he's sort of holding the Zerg back, I suppose. And yeah, if the drop goes in while he's distracted, that could be huge. And it has not been spotted, I don't think. It's coming around the top now.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Did it fly over the top of that? Well, he didn't see it.
No, he has not reacted to it. Let's see how fast he does, because the Bactyls, we're going to have to change course. Look at that. The first couple of frags going.
Yeah, devastation.
What if the storm drop was inside the robots the whole time? Lake is starting to burrow to try to defend. Zets are going to get caught on the approach.
I see he's learned the way of the Matrix. Well, I think there's one in the main mineral line, but his main army might get splattered here. Because of this base tanking, not a good idea. There's a great no! For the Hyperlist, but it doesn't matter. Uh-oh. Big trouble now for Sziky. OyA might be poised to take another game here. I feel like in the main, the Zephyrs got killed pretty easily. Can he win the fight, though?
Yeah, the hard part here is that it's been split so well for Sziky that the Positrons don't do splash, and the Zealots, they can't hit all of the enemy targets. But we do have double Ardent coming up as an extra. The Positron's still alive in that Envoy after killing so many workers. But maybe Zerg doesn't mind. They can remake them.
He needs to land like behind the natural on the high ground. He can get so many kills so quickly from there.
Yeah, could be. Well, the Lake is there defensively.
I feel like a Zerg, you're compelled to put like a building up there or something because it's such a vulnerable spot.
Yeah, it does exist in a way that, like, over here is not as bad for this spawn, right? So it is a little spawn-dependent as well. It's always interesting. These 3 spawn maps are never perfectly symmetrical, right? So
here he goes. That looks like Sziky's ready for this angle, at least.
Yep. Got the Lake is defensively, got the Hydras to pounce. Shouldn't be taken advantage of in the same way. He's not, it's a bit slow to react, but he is going to go ahead and focus it down. You can see, drilled to perfection. Positrons get nothing. The Envoy has to go home empty-handed.
Ouch.
But third base on the way, and the fourth at the same time here for OyA. Double expanding, once to the mineral, once to the gas, and he's already got artisans here and capping the ridge. I love it.
Man, he's trying to get that economy going, but what units is he going to make? Because he has not won the army fight yet. I don't know how he's going to pull this off. It's all well and good to say I've got big economy, but you do have to win the actual military battle somehow. Triple Ardent, okay. He's just like, yes, positrons are my favorite unit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm making them, goddammit.
Zealot, a Cantor drop. The Zealot could actually reveal the Lake is too, which is pretty funny. We'll see how it ends up going if it's for the natural. Sziky,
please tell me he drops on the high ground. Or does it just drop in the mineral line for no reason?
That is a possibility.
Come on, man. This is not a Cosmonarchy mechanic. if you play Brood War, well, okay, hang on a minute though. He doesn't know the Acantor shoots over cliffs, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
The Reaver obviously is not going to do that job.
No,
it's going to be just up there like wasting scarabs.
Yeah. They'll try, be like, oh, and then dud.
Oh man, that base is well defended though. You know what? These outlying bases with a lot of matrices that have been doing work. Who knows? No engrams though. Oh, he's going to drop low ground, I think.
Well, he's within vision, but Sziky, yeah, he notices it at about the same time. There's the Acantor. Oh, he finds the Lake is by fate.
Oh, is he going to save the Zealot? Okay, good. We didn't leave him behind. Oh, he's going to drop up here. Does he know? Does he know? I don't think he knows. Oh, he could have done so much damage, but he doesn't know. Because I think Sziky doesn't know either.
Yeah, Ziky's like, what do you mean?
Oh,
it'll get blocked by terrain, right? Not quite, but the positrons are back. Back for more. And not drilled on this time. Look at that. Clear in the deck. That's 7 worker kills, but the Envoy this time does go down. He's trying to go for more, but
control micro by OyA to get them to fire, and they're sort of drilled on. So nicely done there. So yeah, he gets his little pain, I guess, for Zerg. He's gonna go back home. Now, making a lot of servitors. I do like servitors, but I do wish they were better, man. They are terrible against Bactylisks. They will die pretty much instantly, accomplish nothing. Argosy coming up though, they will be okay at sort of just like holding defensive positions, adding a little bit more damage in there. And he did need to dump some minerals. He had like 1,400, so I don't begrudge him making those.
Yeah, with the Argosy coming, I'm sure he's going to go for Empyreans, but this time have a much more defensive force to try to riposte any Zerg attacks. The problem is, I do feel like Sziky is getting a little bit more free reign on the map. Zeth does discover
I was in chat,
9
by
o'clock.
the way, defending servitors. Look, man, they're not. It's not that they're a bad unit. It's just that they die instantly to backs. Okay, well, you need something that's not everything. We'll see them in a minute. They're like the little surfboards, I like to think of them as. They are very fast building, relative cheap. There they are. And they sort of just, hit scan away, do a little bit of damage, but they have great buffs when they die. They speed up the army, just like the Ecclesiast.
Yep.
They also get the attack speed buff, don't they, when they kill stuff?
No. That's Pariah.
They don't?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Still though.
Or Hierophant. Sure. Empty Envoy posturing over here, and Sziky
I like it.
Sort of noticing stuff around here, but
he's trying to force a pull, but I think Ziky's too smart for that.
Well, instead the attack is going to come in over here with the drop, but oh my goodness, see it. He does unload the units just at the last second, but he's not going to get anything. Dodgeball, and the Envoy down here dies as well. So you guys are probably noticing, and I wish that that other Envoy had stayed alive so I could have shown you, but there's a little text at the bottom of the screen above this little hotbar here that says what units are in there. If you have detection, you as a player can see that. Not only that, if you have detection, you as a player can see this queue as well. So that's a little feature of scouting with a detector. Ooh, you get to see what's coming in. In this case, we know it's the carrier equivalent, the Solarian, which is a little bit different than in Brood War, isn't it, Nevline?
Yeah, I've been told it's good for Zerg, but I'm not so sure. Look, it still does send out interceptors, that's for sure. But look, I've had incidents in the past, as you know. Protoss can make it on one base and cause a lot of trouble. Which actually is kind of the same as Brood War. It's just pretty insane to get it on one base. But yes, we'll see how he does with this. It has no splash, and that's really what you need against Zerg, unfortunately. But he does have a big ground army to back it up. So its main job, I feel like, is just to add like a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be killed, like the interceptors, aka stewards in Cosmonarchy, just flying over the enemy army, because they do build for free. Sort of like the Acantor, how it doesn't need to build scarabs. The Solarian, aka carrier, builds up those interceptors for free.
Starts out with them as well, and it has 12 of them instead of 8, so pretty big change.
They really do swarm the enemy. You know, Zerg's the swarm. No, Protoss shall be the swarm.
Yeah, the
but Zerg does have over 100 units.
Yes.
Yeah. Have we even mentioned there's no supply limit in?
I don't think that. I think we've glossed over that one. Yeah, so they can make as many units as they want. It's a possibility.
Yeah, someone in chat pointing out Sziky is low on workers once again. I mean, he's got so many bases. Look, 76 is a fine worker count to have, but you got so many bases. And the thing is, with no supply limit, you really need to adjust how your brain thinks about worker counts. Because as long as you can sort of get away with it and won't be punished, there's no reason not to just make like huge numbers of them and have massive amounts of money. Because you're not going to be like cutting into how many military units you're allowed to field. Right, third Argosy going up. I do like this approach for OyA, and I do think Sziky's going to have a hard time dealing with a massive stack of Empyreans. I don't know about Solarians. I do doubt their utility versus Zerg, but we'll see. I haven't really seen them versus Zerg that much, so maybe OyA will prove me wrong.
Let's find out, right? Because obviously the Witness does show some of the Zerg army, but Zerg has so much of the map and so many combat units just waiting to find a good engagement, to find a good timing. He's taken every base on the map now.
Yeah, I think that's where you got to do it. He's not mining from the middle, though. He doesn't know about that neutral town center, unfortunately.
No, not quite.
Here we go. Gonna pick off some units here. To be fair, Protoss' army is pretty big, too.
Yeah, it is, but it's slow moving. And now I'm getting flashbacks to a certain map on Crisis Vector between you and a certain shopkeeper dog. How long is OyA going to posture? He's adding 3 more Solarians.
Man, if he had Tectons with this, that'd be insane. It should be like the end-game army.
Tier 3 is on the way for
Oh
Sziky.
my god.
What is he going to cook? Because he skipped out most of Tier 2. He's only got the Lake for his Lyrilisks. This is a Gambit. This is like, I don't even know how to compare it to, it's like rushing Defiler Ultralisk or something on with like Spire. 1 base or something. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's sort of like that.
It's like all those things. It's like you have to get the Defiler Mound, the Ultra Cavern, the Great Aspire before you can make any units.
And a 200 supply army before you can make any units.
Yeah,
like all of the spending.
Right.
It's so expensive. Zethicors and Hydralisks coming on in, looking like Brood War for a moment here for sure. And the Protoss army is caught in translation. They are trying to defend this forward base, and the Bactyls and Hydralisks are running roughshod over that Chaff army. There's no tech units over there. The Ardent might end up going down to all those Zethicors, but maybe not, courtesy of the Matrix. It looks like it'll just barely hold.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
All right, don't doubt Pro's calls. Obviously, he mapped that out in his head, right?
Well, I could have been wrong. Only 21 points of health at the end, but still, looking like a pretty good position here for Sziky. But what is he going to make with it? We've seen games like this before. In the last Showmatch Sziky played in versus Dog, on Brainstorm, he got to Tier 2. He had Zethicors doing so much work infiltrating the enemy base, killing workers. And then Dog just had a Tier 2 army and walked across the map, and Sziky didn't make anything with his tech advantage. Does he know what he needs to make with this? Is he even prepping? I don't see a Spire that he can upgrade at Tier 3. I don't see any of the structures that he needs to make. He might have mapped something out. He might have been checking the website. I know he was doing that on his stream, but what's he going for?
He's got to open his second monitor. Look, man, there's definitely some Tier 3 units that will not win him the game. So, I don't know. We'll see if he knows. Is he going to wait? He's coming in now. It's a terrible angle for Protoss. He's made himself a little choke point, but he's hitting that base with those golems. And, you know, in the late game, those golems are actually absurd. Because they heal their allies when they get hit, bouncing units like Lyrilisks actually cannot kill them if there's too many of them. They literally are incapable of doing it. He has whittled them down, but, I mean, he's getting the damage in. These Solarians are doing the work.
They sure are, and a big Protoss army engaging towards the top left spawn. That's where Zerg has taken that base. This one in the middle is cleared up. Maybe attacking that traditional third base on the low ground would be the next in line.
Man. He needs Tier 3 to win this game now.
Oh, yeah.
It's just as well. He's got that coming up.
And he's going for the Grotto. Maybe he can go for Alcagalisks or maybe the Guardian equivalent. We'll see.
The Cascaphalors.
Yeah, big siege artillery.
Yeah, they would do the job pretty well.
Well, he still has something. He needs an answer for the Solarians, and I'm not so sure he has it right now.
Can Lyrilisks do it?
He needs to see if he can surround and clothesline this Protoss army. I just can't see him breaking through right now. He can't really reinforce.
Yeah, he's going to break through, I'm pretty sure. It's just a matter of time. The Golem's dealing with those Lyrilisks once again. Like, Lyrilisks really do suffer against them.
Yeah.
Even though there's only 2 of them. And yeah, he's killed so much stuff up here. But there's so much money saved up. I think he is planning to make... Oh, he's making the Oxal Cesiant because he realizes he wants to make Alcaj, but he doesn't have any Oxal Lava. He knows, man. Somebody told him what to make at Tier 3. We're going to see Zerg's pretty much ultimate unit here. And I think it's going to be pretty devastating.
Well, and he's going to clear this top army without losing the base. I am shocked that Sziky has pulled that off, but now he's got a pressing issue, and it's called 7 Solarians inside his base. You multiply 7 by 12. Tell me what the result is. Something like... What, 70, 96? I don't remember.
Will the Alcaj come up? Might kill all the infrastructure first if the Solarians go straight in.
Yeah, that's right.
They're getting distracted.
Does he know? You can reveal those burrowed units by standing on them, but he doesn't need to when the lake is unburrowed.
Oh, he's making Sprafes in the main. He's not making any Tier 3 units. He's trying to make Capralos somewhere. He's got the Oxal Cesium, but I think he just used it to make Lyrilisks.
Oh, he's upgrading his Sprafes to the Tier 2 variant. That's an option, but I don't know if it's going to matter versus such a stacked air.
I see 3 Alcaj on the way. He's going to get them out. Well, is he going to have time? 3 is not actually quite enough for this. They are devastating. Where is he even making those?
Those are, I think you're looking at the Spear Tip. I don't see an Alcaj. There's the 3 started.
Oh, okay, my bad. That is confusing. Oh, the Capralos going to get taken out here as well. So much back for both players. But Sziky, in a bit of confusion about how to implement his Tier 3, Is he going to have time?
Yeah, didn't
His
have
prototypes
those.
become more and more devastating.
He did not have the wherewithal to actually go after the evolved hatches or the evolved Larvosks, and indeed, now a drop at this stage in the game with so much on the line, with so much going on. OyA still grinding through with 10 Solarians and 3 more coming in. I don't know if the giant space whales are going to do a damn thing.
Well, it depends on the targeting, right? If they get distracted by stewards, no. But if they could just target, then on the bright side, he has spent his gas down. But he's got what he's going to have. He could have had like a lot more sprays, I imagine, but there's too many really to be stopped by spray slow. Here we go. We're going to demonstrate its power, so Sziky will be aware how devastating they are. But can he get enough? You know, I have always thought that once Zerg hits tier 3, it's actually a strat to just fortify the shit out of your main base and just abandon the map if you have to, which is the scenario here. So I think he can still absolutely win, just building up these really strong tier 3 units somehow.
Well, let's see. OyA's actually spent down a good portion of his bank at this stage of the game. The Alcagelisks are starting to engage. Their armor proving very difficult for some of the Solarians to deal with. Remember, most of them are not actually in the fight. But eventually one of them will go down on the retreat. No, just narrowly stays alive. Yeah, if you wanted an unkillable composition, what you would do is drop an Axtoth right now. You would make Sasirvalets. They have got that aura that gives you lifesteal based on damage you deal. Good luck trying to bring them down without a whole lot of armor end. Or in the case of Protoss, armor pen. Manifolds or Barghest would be required. Now we've got this engagement coming. A rare sighting of a Khaz'trith, but it doesn't help versus the air. Not without any anti-air defenses.
I'm sure he probably doesn't know about it, but in these desperate situations, Sovrolevs are actually insane.
Yes.
Would love to see that.
Yeah.
All right, he's moving those Alcaj around. I think they can like outrun Solarians, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard because the Empyreans are also here to try to give chase, and they even deal some splash damage.
Looks like he wants to fight, surprisingly. I wouldn't have thought he'd want to fight the enemy army. You know, he's not sure. I think he's trying to build up more numbers, but it's going to be hard on one base alone. Does he even have gas caps? Well, hang on, he's still got these bases, I suppose. No gas caps, unfortunately. Even in the main, that is a big problem, because Zerg wants a lot of gas. Why not get those caps, get that income up? Now, this Golden Armada over here is made purely of Solarians and a couple of Empyreans. There's no, like, top-tier Protoss units. We have not seen the tier 4 building.
That's right.
Made yet.
We need the Monument of Sin if OyA wants to end it in style. You can glass the entire map if you need to. Not all at once, but, you know. Could put it right here. It would wipe this whole base.
In my opinion, the only way to match Zerg tier 3 is with the Monument of Sin. I don't think there's really anything else you can make. So if Sziky can just buy time and just put up more and more Alcaj, he's actually going to have a superior army. The Solarians will not actually be able to win once there's enough, as long as he doesn't waste time targeting stewards or something. Well, here we go. And Empyreans really don't do much. The ground army is going to be absolutely decimated if the air army doesn't engage soon. Okay, if we wants to pull back a bit. Okay, there we go. Just to distract the ground army. Here we go. He's going to go with the engage. Is he going to be able to take out those Solarians? So far, not getting any. The ground army trying to do its best. Yeah. I can't even tell what he's targeting.
No, he's loose after the interceptors. The stewards were taking his focus. GG. And like that, OyA forces a decider for real. We were playing that 7th map no matter what, but now both show matches so far have gone all the distance. Who's going to win this last one?
Yeah, I can't believe OyA brought it back, right? He looked like he was in such dire straits. Even in this very game, I thought he was at a pretty big disadvantage, but man, maybe we shouldn't underestimate Solarians in PvC after all.
Real possibility right now for OyA to secure the Lions' share of the cash. They are neck and neck right now. Everybody's saying maybe he's going to be favored. Well, we are 3-4-3. And let's see, because based on that, we're going to brainstorm to decide this. The port of Bluestorm. I can't wait
I say the same thing about this map. It's not a real map anymore. It is not fair, but both players will know it well. I have no doubts. They'll know what they're doing. They won't be surprised, or will they? Because you have made a few changes, haven't you?
I have made a few changes, but I think they've both played enough on it that it won't be a humongous difference. Ladies and gentlemen, our players are already ready. This is our final game of the show match. OyA bringing it back 2 in a row after a 3-1 start. Has a lot more work ahead of him, or maybe a little more work ahead of him, because this is Brainstorm. And a map like this, I mean, it can be pretty aggressive in the early game. We've got Mr. Sziky in the top right. He is looking like Scarlet. Oh, but it was Mahogany. And OyA in the bottom left. He is looking like Palatinate Blue. At least I've guessed one color right every single time.
Well, I've come this far, but I think my time is up. I'm going to have to leave you for this final game.
That's
I'm
right.
glad I got to see Tier 3, and I'm going to watch this back for sure. This is going to be hype as hell, but my time is up.
Thank you,
So
Neblime.
I'm going to head out.
GG's. We will see you next time, I'm sure.
Bye.
And just like that, that is a wrap for the co-cast, but thank you for joining me so far today. We've had all kinds of exciting matches so far, and now it is going to be an early pool. Will we see the early hatch? Double gate for OyA. I'm excited, man. He has the hatch as well. This is going to be a pretty hype decider here. I always love when we have these 7-game sets. When we have these 7-game sets and it's for real and it's for all the marbles at the end. It's not just for honor. It's for who was the better player on the day, so to speak. Legionnaire spam might be on the table. The first unit out is the Legionnaire. This fast-moving unit tags enemies with its melee attack, and from then on, other Legionnaires, including itself, can teleport to the target if they're within a minimum range distance for that. But there's a lot of Zets out already for Sziky. He's going to go with that Zergling equivalent, see if he can fight it. And we will be switching into Zealots after the fact. So that's pretty good. But it is a 3-gate opener here for OyA. And I doubt he knows this, but the neutral temples in the middle of the map that separate these side passageways from each other, they do act as power fields. I have not seen any top-level player actually try to use that. Of course, it's pretty easy to scout once you know you're looking for it, but because nobody does it, it's one of those things that doesn't get scouted. They are on the high ground after all. Well, 2 Zealots earmarked for the mineral line back here. They do end up scouting the 3-gate. That's going to be information for Sziky as soon as he pans over. And of course, he's thinking to himself, oh, you're going to go for heavy military focus, huh? Well, you know what that means. I'll kick one of your workers to the curb and go straight in for a defensive posture. And Sziky has played a lot on this map. You'd say it's not favorable. You got to come down from this angle, or you got to come in from that spot in the middle. We call this the brain drain, the choke point. And the fact that you can get that cliff advantage in Cosmonarchy, giving you +1 weapon range, coming in down from a fight, it does make static defense that are postured over here a lot harder to deal with. But this position actually looks a lot better for Sziky. He's pulled back a much more defensive angle. He's ceding a little bit more ground in case his opponent does want to come down from that high ground. And maybe that won't even be a factor. We might not even get to the point where we have a Cantors or any sort of ardent units other than that, like Positrons that obviously OyA has been really heavily pressuring with. Looks like he wants to go for his own Nexus pretty soon, but first he's going to try to deny a little bit of activity. And remember, so far Sziky's been pretty good at holding this, but it hasn't been immaculate. He has dropped a number of early stages, including one whole game that was defeated on Serenity. That was the start of OyA's comeback. And now the Ecclesia is providing so much value versus those Zethra-cores, and the remorph didn't come in time. So that will allow the Protoss army to stay alive for a little bit longer. Sziky's still harvesting at full efficiency back at home. He doesn't have enough workers for it to not be. Great cancel in time to get that worker back. Still going to be focused down at the end of the day, but it buys a little bit more time, a little bit more opportunity for more units to come on through, and he's going to put down some more static defense as his circuit falls yet again. He'll remorph it, and that one will be focused down all the way. You don't get your worker back otherwise. We still have 2 Zealots. 1 more full HP coming in. This might be an overwhelming force. We've got 5 more pairs of Zeths on the way. That's going to be 10 in total as those Kagrins turn in. That's a Khaz'trith. That's a mistake. That's a lot of Vespene down the drain, as that was a fat finger or something. And it will immediately be focused down as well, the one on the south. There was no hope for that one. That's all the gas down. Now, will it even matter? He still needs Zeths. He still needs to fall back. And I think OyA, he might just 3-gate him to death. He's got a Nexus for the follow-up. He's got more and more military. And Sziky, he played this like it was a 2-gate despite scouting. We might see him end up second place in the show match again. Well, trying to engage just as the hatch is about to fall down. It can still absorb some damage. The Ecclesia is targeting it instead, and that gives those Zealots a little bit less support, but I don't even know if it matters, as once again, cut down, and not even going to be able to cancel that forward Kagrin. He was trying to save the position. GG! OyA will take it all, 4-3. Other people's predictions coming on true, and that will be $110 dues for the Swede. Gets himself a nice filet mignon. We love to see the way that it ends. GGs must be exchanged. Sziky picked that last map and wasn't able to make it over the line, but we did get to see some very cool action from the pros, and that will be a wrap. I'll grab their PayPals and get them sent, but wow, a very exciting way to end the series. 3-gate on Blue Storm's port. Not what I would have thought. Remember, this was a 3-1 to start with for Sziky. For OyA to come back after all of that and make it magical, make it happen. And still ends up earning a pretty penny. Oh yeah, and of course, how can I get away with a match like this, a broadcast like this, without being able to play out the winner's music? So guys, give it up for the winner of today's show match. Of course, it is going to be OyA after all. We love to see that. Has himself some classic gamer music here. The Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. OyA is among those who fight. And he's got himself a nice chunk of change. A big shout out as well to our sponsors, Krankendow and Aud64, managing to make this show match happen with their prize winnings reinvested back into the ecosystem. If you guys want more show matches like this, we've got Bonneth, Hawk, Ultra, and plenty more players who might be interested in doing it. We've already locked them in for some August show matches, so why don't you help make that possible with your donations? You can send it to the Ko-fi link in the description or in the Twitch channel panels. We appreciate that kind of thing. Maybe we'll get some more 7-game sets that need that 7th game to decide things. Just like that, we are
show match winnings.
Free and clear. Show match winnings indeed. I was just tipping Sziky, but my desktop audio was still on. Classic move. Sziky seems to be pretty fond of Cosmonarchy, despite his narrow losses in both show matches so far. He actually wrote to Zero, ZZ0, from BSL, see if we can't do some kind of collaboration. So keep your eye on the future calendars. We can absolutely see some more stuff. And I've seen some people stream on into the Discord server. It is a big place for you guys to enjoy the community of Cosmonarchy. Play it yourself. And we even got a little bit of a raid from Sziky at the very end, which I appreciate as we get to wrap things up here in our first show match. OyA would probably give us a little bit of an interview at the end, but unfortunately, he does not have his setup just yet. So we'll have to go with that. But like I think it was Toyota in chat said, we got to know what he's eating with all that money. PSL Cosmonarchy. Imagine. Well, there's a possibility there. GGs have to be called, indeed. If you guys are thinking about checking out Cosmonarchy, our Discord server is a great place to be. If you guys are thinking about popping in for some more show matches in the future, you drop a cheeky follow. We got OyA in there in the chat. Appreciate you. More chromies. More homies. Eating pesky zerglings with some fried rice. There you go. There you go. Yeah, listen, it would be pretty neat if, I think if we get more, Brood War casters, it doesn't have to be Artosis. I know he's a busy man, but it could be him. I wouldn't say no. If we get some people from the Brood War community, the foreign community, to give these sets a cast. I did send some matches between Dog and Sziky to Diggity. I'm not sure if he'll grab them at some point. I know he's also a busy man, family man. But there's absolutely some funny moments that could happen from the casters reacting to big changes, especially if they go in blind and they don't know a single thing. We've already had that a few times with Alaix over on YouTube. He's casted a number of matches from our community. It's a quick possibility. But guys, that is a successful show match in my books. We had some great games, we had some long games, and we even got to see some tier 3 towards the end, which I am told is very rare. But, personally, I quite like that thing. I quite like that kind of stuff. So I think I'll go ahead and validate those replays, get them uploaded for our viewers and our community members to watch if they want to. And after that, also maybe send out a couple of messages about some of those. Maybe somebody else can give them a shot. But yeah, big shout out. Thanks to Neutschern in the chat. And he's right as well. Thanks to the homies from Acropolis to send in their hard-earned money, their hard-earned moolah. Crank and Ayu had given us that. Very, very good. Very, very good. I think we've proven, though, that there's some skill going on in here, right? Even though it's very different than StarCraft 1. It's like a parallel universe, interdimensional cable. Get some exciting stuff out of that. I think maybe that game on Kingwa Valley, it might have been my favorite. It was so back and forth. Then again, the first game was also pretty fun on Knife's Edge. I think Dominator is a pretty solid map in StarCraft 1. I think it'll be a pretty solid map in Cosmonarchy as well. We'll see how people adapt to it. Obviously, these guys already know it. But it's going to be a good time. And Alexander in the chat is right. We're going to be adding our 4th race later this year. Probably see it first deployed as far as like being able to putz around with it in some custom games or something. You'll probably be able to see that in a couple of months. I'm taking the rest of July off for a vacation, but when I get back to August, we'll be doing more show matches. We've already got Bonneth and Hawk and Ultra potentially participating. Well, they've all said that they're down, but I always give them a wide berth because pros have their own ideas of what the game is like, and then they come in and they're like, wait, what the hell? I've got 50 units? What the hell? I've got all these different mechanics, and I don't have any ill will to anybody if they're like, well, that's too much for me, man. So, but hey, it should still be a fun time, right? That's what it comes down to. That's what it matters. We got nerf us cozy, buff us cozy, remove us cozy, and keep us cozy the same. I think I'll buff them by implementing them. That's what I think. Add us cozy. There you go. Very cool stuff. We definitely had some cool matches today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Since we have a decent number, like double-digit viewers on Twitch, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look to see if we want anybody. We want to raid anybody. Normally, we don't have as many viewers here. Most people congregate on YouTube. But I am happy to support the broader category of StarCraft. Let's see if we can find that. I see Herbmon is there. Herbmon is a G. Who else we got? Iskia. Oh, I guess there's not so many people rocking it out in English. Or, in fact, at all on at this time. So let's go ahead and give Herbmon some love. He played Cosmonarchy. couple of times. So we are going to go ahead and jump into Urbmon's chat. One of our most exciting Zerg players from North America. We are a big fan. Big fan here. And let's see. We are all ready. Ladies and gentlemen, GG's. It's been glorious being with you. We are now on out of here.